Let's go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Clash Royale League Asia, Season 2 of 2019. It's Group A again today, and that is really exciting because these guys are really, really strong. Of course, both groups are very strong, but Group A has been really intense. The battles have been close, on paper thin. With me, ending life and ending. This is, we get to see Group A together again. It's been a little bit, but we've got to do it once before. And we're back. We're through our second time of all of the groups facing each other again. So we're over the halfway mark. And, you know, I think we look at this and we say, well, Kix is good. We know that. DragonX is good.
Yeah.
And they seem to be a little bit ahead of everybody else right now. But Ponos is on the up and up. They've been coming up lately. And some of the other teams are finding success here and there as well.
Yeah, it's funny how, you know, this season, especially at this second half point of the season, you know, we have to say DragonX is good and Kix is good because they're the top two. However, if it was last season, it would have been Ponos and Chaos Theory instead of DragonX and Kix. So it's kind of funny, but like you said, Ponos is stepping up. I hope that Chaos Theory starts stepping up, but you know, the thing that's hard to see is Detonation Gaming, especially Talon as well, who is at last place with the record of 2-5, and they're not fully out of it yet. There's still 3 games left, including today, so 3 days left. So we'll see if, you know, the bottom of the pack, Detonation Gaming and Talon, who is at 5th and 6th, can slowly climb up.
Yeah, you know, I kind of think when we talk about, especially in this group, how much the not having bans in 1v1 has affected some of these teams. Like Talon, yes, they weren't great last season, but they had their moments of brilliance where they would ban something against a player or an opponent that really locked down that opponent's ability to do what they wanted to do. So Talon, you know, I feel like maybe they're lacking a little bit of that because they were creative with their bans, and then their decks they built around that were quite creative. You know, I kind of wonder if that's affecting especially Benzer on Chaos Theory.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'd love to pick the players' brains a little bit more about that. I just kind of thought of that as we were sitting here. But today's matchup, DragonX versus Talon, Kix versus Ponos. Woo! That one's going to be a doozy.
Yeah.
And Detonation Gaming versus Chaos Theory to wrap the day up. And matches 22, 23, 24 here for Group A.
And this matchup is very interesting because obviously the first matchup, match 22, is first place team versus the last place team. And if somehow right? Somehow Talon comes back and beats DragonX, and they climb up and they beat the hardest team on the roster or in their group. There's still hope yet, like I said. And the second matchup, Kicks versus Ponos, that's the second place and the third place matchup, but that's not the important thing. Their record is exactly the same. 4 wins, 3 losses. Same goes for Chaos Theory and Detonation. They're both 3 wins and 4 losses. So today's matchups are going to identify the exact standings in each group.
Yep, we still need to work on our little pregame. I don't know what to call them.
Club scene.
What's the word for it?
What?
Like the club scene.
It's the club scene. It's the CRL club scene.
All right, which one of you? Who are you or Simon? Which one of you came up with that? That's what I want to know. That's good. With like this pregame little warm-up or celebration, they're not good, guys. We got to work on that. Let's get some good ones going. Come up with a little dance. Maybe do the Macarena or something. You know,
my
give me
goodness,
something.
Macarena? What year are we from? Why do I even know that?
Because you lived in America during the 90s. Okay, so we have DragonX versus Talon, and True Fast and Alpha has been a pretty reliable 2v2 for DragonX.
Yep.
But we're going to rotate Yugi art in here with the Rock for Talon. So this is going to be really interesting. Yugi Art has played one time, and they won in their 2v2. I wasn't there that day, but it was when they played Detonation.
Yep.
So I like what they're doing here. Tochi's been pretty successful in 1v1s. So he's going to have to go against Line, who is, of course, a very strong 1v1 player himself. And the bans here for 2v2 are quite interesting. P.E.K.K.A, again, we're starting to see P.E.K.K.A being banned in 2v2.
Yeah, the P.E.K.K.A being banned, you know, usually like the P.E.K.K.A, it's kind of like what I feel like is it's a giant skeleton, right? Like if he dies, he has a death bomb. But P.E.K.K.A, he dies, he has nothing. However, when he's alive, he does as much or even more damage than the death bomb of a giant skeleton. So, you know, he has a little bit of range, so he's able to get rid of some of the tanky ground units that come through. And also, kind of similar to the giant skeleton, if he gets close to the tower, somehow he makes it to the Princess Tower, then also it brings the same danger that the giant skeleton does. So, like, in a way, I'm not saying they're the same, but in a way, they have very similar priorities of what they do when they're on the ground.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And the last time we saw P.E.K.K.A banned, I expected to see a lot of Royal Giants, some other stuff. We saw a lot of just kind of standard Graveyard Lava Hound kind of things.
Yeah.
A little bit of Mega Knight. But you see Mega Knight pretty much rotated in and around stuff a lot. These days, you'll see a lot of Mega Knight, Ram Rider kind of things in 2v2. So just kind of curious to see how this one's going to pan out because it was DragonX that is banning the P.E.K.K.A here, and this might have just been something as well that they noticed in the 2v2 game that Yugi and The Rock played against Detonation Gaming where they won. They might have liked the P.E.K.K.A and had some good strategies built around it, but it is time for game number 1 of our 2v2 set. It is going to be DragonX versus Talon. I just think there's going to be a lot of lava in Graveyard.
Yeah.
That's what I just expected 2v2. Now I'm just
exactly.
Like, well, lava in
And
Graveyard. Put your AirPods in!
AirPods, guys.
Come on, guys.
Come on.
Jeez.
Not sponsored, by the way. But
Turn
anyways,
the Bluetooth off.
but
Maybe
anyways,
you can't. I don't know.
the funny thing is, like, if they do a P.E.K.K.A ban and they just literally do a you know, a lava graveyard or lava miner, that would be funny.
It would be really, really funny.
You know, like usually, like you just mentioned, if you ban a P.E.K.K.A, you would usually expect a Royal Giant or something strong on the ground, but
the last time it was banned, we didn't see much of it. It was just kind of almost like a bait, trying to convince the opponent maybe to try to play the Royal Giant or something like that. Ooh, a Hunter. You don't see a ton of Hunters in 2v2. They're really prone to a bunch of different spells, so you're not going to see a ton of the Hunter in 2v2. But they're the Mega Knights here. Whoa, they just like jumped right past each other and do-si-doed, and in we go.
And usually, you know, I was about to say when we saw the Hunter, since because we do see a lot of Fishermen these days, if the Fisherman pulls in the Hunter for some reason, and right now you just saw DragonX not allowing the Hunter to get pulled for some reason, but if the Hunter does get pulled by the Fisherman, then he'll basically one-shot it and he'll be able to clear things up. So, I don't know, maybe the Hunter just fitting into a Mega Knight Graveyard deck as you see for DragonX, it may just work out.
For sure. It's still powerful, and it's going to absorb the blow from that Dark Prince there. You can also, conversely, use the Fisherman to pull something into your own Hunter as well. so it can be really strong in that situation. So there's that Executioner. We're seeing a lot of that 2v2 to defend against Lavas. That's not terrible against Graveyards. And there is the Ram Rider. So it's going to be the Ram Rider for Talon and the Graveyard for DragonX so far. And we've got a pretty strong push coming here for Talon. And there's the Mega Knight down just in time.
There we go, the Ram Rider. They're gonna giant snowball it so it doesn't get through. And you know, it's cool that just as you mentioned how the Mega Knight just subs in back and forth, and now with the P.E.K.K.A ban, you see Talon bringing out the Mega Knight Ram Rider instead of the P.E.K.K.A Ram Rider. So this is also pretty cool to see something happen right away regarding what the ban was.
Great minor positioning is going to force out a defensive freeze from DragonX, and that Ram Rider is going nowhere. Now we have a big, healthy push coming here for DragonX. There is a Dark Prince and a defensive poison down, so the Graveyard isn't going to do too much good. Fisherman to pull that Mega Knight away.
With the King Tower activation, with the Mega Knight splash damage, so now Talon, anything that comes down with the Graveyard from DragonX, it's going to be a little bit easier for Talon to defend against that, unless, you know, a great freeze comes down. But for now, Talon's doing pretty great.
You can freeze the King Towers here, but they are going to do the offensive poison to kick this one off. There is a Lumberjack. He's pretty solid at defense, but a few lucky skeleton spawns on the short side give a little bit of extra damage to DragonX there.
All right, there we go with the Mega Knight. Of course, we have a great spawn of DragonX's Mega Knight getting 3 units at the same time, even with the jump splash onto that. So now we have a small push, but obviously we're going to see the Graveyard rotate all the time whenever, you know, a defensive unit get past the bridge. There we go with the freeze with the King Tower.
Yeah, I think the freeze came just a split second later than DragonX probably would have liked, because like 3 skeletons died like in a millisecond before that freeze came down. So now they wasted a lot of elixir. They have enough for the Mega Knight. The lightning comes down, doesn't get a ton of value actually, because the Dark Prince's shield absorbed that, and the Mega Knight as well. So that actually wasn't the greatest of lightnings.
Exactly. Here we go. Now this time around we do have that. Is that the defensive poison? Yeah, it is the defensive poison coming down from Talon. So no, that Graveyard is going to be pretty well defended here. Raged up. Coming past the bridge with the Ram Rider.
All right, there comes the Miner in the back.
Okay.
Good Miner placement here. The Hunter's going to come down. They have to use the Snowball to clean that up, but now it is dangerous for Talon. Their tower is at 353. We're getting nearer and nearer to poison range. The Mega Knight does go down. There's some extra damage, and it is going to be DragonX taking game number 1.
Wow, that was actually pretty close. Even though throughout the whole game, it was Talon's Princess Tower that was always a little bit lower compared to DragonX's, but the gap started to you know, get bigger and bigger. Unfortunately, whenever Talon defended and kind of did a counter push with their defensive units that stayed alive, they weren't able to reach DragonX's tower. Whereas DragonX, every time they defended and then they counter pushed, they always did a small amount of damage because of that double Graveyard that they brought. So they would always cycle it through back and forth. Even one or 2 skeleton scratches on that Princess Tower ended up adding up and, you know, giving them the victory.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there were just a few choices that Talon put into their deck that were pretty kind of normal meta for the 2v2, like the Lightning and the Executioner, that turned out to not be all that effective because of those kind of a unique situation, a unique lineup that DragonX brought here. I mean, really, you only had 2 units that are really prone to the Lightning, the Hunter and the Musketeer, and those often were not being used for defense in a situation where a Lightning made sense.
Exactly. That's actually pretty accurate. And, you know, the fact that I'm pretty sure DragonX also knew that, so they would, if they were to put it down, they would always pair it up with a Dark Prince and a Mega Knight and something else to kind of absorb the damage as well, so it doesn't get onto the single target units or even onto that Princess Tower.
All right, we're moving on to game numero 2, and it is DragonX up 1-0 right now. The Rock and the Yugi Art looking to turn it around for Talon, get themselves a 2v2 victory. Much needed for them. Things are getting a little desperate for them here in the standings. And I just wanted to comment, something struck me during the match where you said, like, was that a defensive poison or not? I have this all the time where I can't tell.
I was looking at the ring,
And I wanted to say I'm colorblind, but then I'm like, wait, the colors are already set up for colorblind people. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, but I have a hard time telling sometimes.
Yeah, I have to always look at the ring, and then like at that moment it was like overlapping.
Yeah, if it overlaps with part of the graveyard, it's really hard to tell. All right, a little bit different. So now it's going to be DragonX with the Executioner and a Miner so far. Looks like very similar to the deck that Talon brought last time so far.
Yeah, with the cage. However, yeah, it is a little bit different. We do have the Giant Skeleton on both sides. Lumberjack is coming through with the Fisherman, pulling the Giant Skeleton. So, you know, very unfortunate for DragonX to get theirs pulled. However, now DragonX puts down their own Fisherman with the Magic Archer in the back.
He gets pulled over, but that's going to buy them a little bit of time, enough to set up a defense. Pretty good lightning, but that is a great Goblin Cage that is going to prevent that Royal Giant from getting any shots in.
All right, here we go now. That one Executioner that Talon put down got a lot of value, literally cleaned up 3 sets of different units at the same time. And, you know, I think even though he did die to the log, I think he did his job.
Curious to see what the final 2 cards here from DragonX are. We've seen a lot of what they've got going. It's actually a pretty fast cycle overall for like for 2v2. I wonder if they're just big spells, or if maybe they're saving a Royal Giant, but I kind of wonder that potentially they're just going to try to whittle Talon down and win with a big spell at the end.
Yeah, it's possible that they will you know, be holding, at least one of them holding a big spell, because you can tell, all right, there we go with the poison, and you can tell that they both brought the Miner. They're going to just constantly do Miner chip, because there's no Tornado. They can always place it anywhere they want. They do have the Giant Skeleton, initially for defense, to clog up the bridge, to even if it dies, it'll clear up anything that's coming across. There we go, you're correct, Paper.
The rocket comes in, gets a bunch of damage and some value, and here we go. Got to get this Royal Giant. He has got to get some shots in. That's a nice pull by the Fisherman. He's going to eliminate another nice pull from that Fisherman. He's going to get the Miner even. That is huge for Talon, but they are very far down there within rocket range. This push kind of had to work here for Talon. They're going to try it one more time. Now, DragonX is forced into defense here.
There we go. So as long as DragonX defends it somehow with the Royal Giant, even though, yeah, they do have a ton of HP on their Princess Tower. There we go. They're going to send the rocket in, or even the poison, or even the Miner, and it's possible. But there we go. Talon is trying to force them to kind of use everything else to defend, and that Miner.
There we go. There it is.
Yep.
It is going to be the rocket to finish it off. And nice little victory celebration from Alpha and True Fast. They are playing well. There's the X, the DragonX, the X-Force, if you will. That's X. No, that's a Marvel. That's a Marvel superhero team. So forget I talked about that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. X-Force. But however, gosh. True Fast, Alpha, they were 4-2 now for winning today. They're 5-2 for their 2v2 records. And, you know, that pair, I think DragonX, they just found a great pair, because in the past, Alpha and True Fast, they were basically both 1v1 players for the past DragonX team. And, you know, they've been shuffling around with Line coming in at the end of last season, so they had too many 1v1 players, so I'm pretty sure they're practicing 2v2 pairs, and I think this pair worked out for them in their practices. As you can see, even during the live tournament days, they're doing very, very well.
I think it's really interesting that in competitive Clash Royale, like, strong 1v1 players easily transition to 2v2. I mean, we've seen, you know, both these two, of course, players like Expo Master, Econ Booyah, players who are traditionally known for their 1v1 skills, go into 2v2 and find a ton of success. And it's weird, because I think, obviously, you know, you want to have your team stacked with 1v1 players in case it comes down to those King of the Hills. And then if you're in the playoffs and you get to those into the, you know, far reaches of the playoffs, you need to have a lot of good 1v1 players, because that's the format. That's been traditionally the format, is we have a bunch of 1v1s after the 2v2. So you need those strong 1v1 players as well. But it kind of stinks in a way for these players, because I think a lot of them want to be that guy who's their 1v1 go-to. You know, you want to be that guy.
Exactly, and you know, when you do get you know, pushed back, I don't think getting pushed back to 2v2 is the right term to use, but you know,
No.
when they were used to be the 1v1 players and then they transition into 2v2, like you said, Paper, they may feel bad. But however, during the regular seasons, if they do get a great record, you know, it's good for them. So
I think the way that if I'm a coach, I'm telling the players to look at this is you're not being demoted to 2v2.
Yeah.
We're bringing you into 2v2 because you're so much better at it than anyone else we have.
Correct.
That we need those wins. And those wins are super important. We saw this for Ponos last season. They destroyed everyone in 2v2s, had a great record because of it. Then they have a lot of strong 1v1 players to go into King of the Hills as well. And then when they get to the finals, they're stacked in 1v1.
Yep.
And they can rely on people like Rikey Jones and Rad to come in and, you know, clean house for them.
Exactly. Now we're moving on to that 1v1 that we've been talking about so long. We do have DragonX Line versus Tochi. Tochi has, you know, had his up and down. You can see his record. It's even 2-2 right now. So we'll see if he's able to make his record positive after today's games, or will it go down to 2 wins and 3 losses.
It's been a struggle all around for Talon and the 2v2s and the 1v1s, and that's why there's a lot of, unfortunately for them, 0-2s on their record.
Yep.
But this is a moment. This is a moment for Tochi. Can he turn it around here? Take down Line, who's been quite good himself this season in the 1v1s, 3-2 in his sets. So here we go. It's time for game number 1 of our 1v1 Tochi Lovac. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm really trying so hard to say that right. I have to go off the Korean pronunciations.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I'm saying it wrong, please tweet at me and let me know.
Exactly.
I am happy to call them by the correct name. All right. So Line, we know he likes the Expo.
Yep.
And potentially that could be what this is. There's a few other decks that do this kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know, it's probably most likely that.
Yeah.
We've been seeing him just like sometimes like Line. I think maybe it was like 3 weeks. Oh, Valkyrie.
Oh, Valkyrie. Still could be, but you know, there is kind of a Tesla Expo that uses Valkyrie from time to time.
See a Hog Rider?
Yeah, it might be, yeah. Some kind of hog cycle. Oh, no. Okay, no. Now we might have a tornado. Something else coming here. This is pretty interesting.
Okay.
Tochi might be into Lava Hound territory.
Yep, definitely.
Maybe not. They're both tricking. They're both tricking us here today. We got some.
Well, we have seen a lot of Royal Hogs go along with the Goblin Cage as well.
Still.
So.
Maybe still with that Dark Prince there, that could fit in, but we'll see. And it's just going to be the Valkyrie cycle to buy some time.
Yep.
That Valkyrie's going to go down here. That slow from the Ice Wizard helps. Lion's going to have to take just a tickle from that Ice Wiz to cycle into his execution now. Now 100% Lion has a tornado in here. 100%.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it's going to be Royal Giant.
So
Fascinating.
All right, so we have a Royal Giant that coming from Line here. So we do have a Skeleton, Ice Spirit, and the Log just for fast cycle.
I think that might have been outside of the Executioner's range.
Correct. That Ice Wiz is just literally that. It's right in front of his face. He felt the boomerang come up to his face, but he didn't get damaged by it.
It's not the end of the world for Line, but he really would have liked to have gotten all those units into that first Executioner swing. That would have been much more effective. He's going to try it again here, and he's going to get 1, maybe 2 shots out of those.
2 shots?
Yeah, 2. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And perfect Valkyrie placement. That's going to buy him all the time. Great skeletons to surround that Barbarian out of that barrel as well.
There we go. He's going to let the Royal Giant tank up. The Baby Dragon hits a little bit, but that one Baby Dragon in the middle is going to actually lock onto that Executioner. However, double Execution. Now, this is scary. However, Tochi's Tornado gets it all cleaned up.
Look at how good that skeleton placement is surrounding that Barbarian. Really nicely done here from Line. And this is quite a fascinating deck that Line is bringing out here.
All right, now it seems like Tochi still hasn't gotten the chance because obviously you can see Line is just pressuring him with that Royal Giant, with the Executioner in the back. And Tochi has no chance yet to bring down what he wants to bring down to set up his own offense.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's something heavy. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was just Lava Hound.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, it has to be a Lava Hound.
Well, it could be something, like both players are kind of doing some trickery here, so we'll see. Good tornado.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of...
One more throw? Ah, if that one more throw went through, that would have been great.
Yeah,
but that slow from the Ice Whiz.
Been really nice there, but good Ice Spirit placement. No belches from the Baby Dragon. The defense has been impeccable here from line. Oh, it's going to be a fireball at the back end. Just cycling that through to get a little damage. And he could tornado, but a good lightning from Tochi. So we do eliminate that Executioner. Oh, great Ice Spirit. That gets all three.
That was crazy. That was great. However, I'm still curious, Tochi, when is he going to put down that last card? Because he needs to make an offensive move, because if not, he's just going to always get pressure like this. And this has been happening since 2 minutes ago, even before the overtime sudden death. And Tochi hasn't had to, been able to find his own cycle to defend and then go offense.
And now you're in Fireball Log.
Yep.
You're in the Fireball Log range. So as soon as Line is able to cycle in it, you can see he's already going for it. There it is, indeed. We're not even going to get to see it ending. We have no...
I believe it was a Lava Hound.
You want to make a little wager on it?
Do you now? Do you now? Do you now?
I'm joking. Or am I?
All right, yeah. But anyways,
I think it felt lava-y, but I think he would have at least, I don't know. He should have tried whatever it was. The reason I think Golem is because of how he just never had the chance to do it. But I don't know. It's whatever.
I think same. The reason not only because what Tochi has brought, because that deck, it kind of, we've seen a lot of lavas with that deck that Tochi brought, but also Line kept putting down the Executioner in the back. And when you have an Executioner down, not only is the Royal Giant basically forcing you to put down other lighter units defense against it, but the Executioner in the back is going to always hurt that Lava Hound, and it's going to defend it very well.
That's a good point.
And it also keeps the Executioner further back so that that Executioner can stay alive away from the Baby Dragon and the Dark Prince that Tochi put down. So that's one of the reasons why I think it...
you've now convinced me.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good point.
Yeah, but anyways, we'll never know until we ask him.
Yeah, I'm going to go grab him afterwards. So we're going to take a timeout. Of course, Talon is yet to win a game here. Another thing I noticed that during that replay was there was a really good log fireball before the one, of course, to finish the match, where he knocked the Ice Spirit, or the Ice Wizard back just far enough that it was into, the fireball was in tower and range of that Ice Wizard.
Yeah.
Really good. Really heads-up play there to get that extra damage out of it and eliminate that Ice Wizard as well. Yeah. So got to give props to Line on that.
Exactly. We can't do that on our games.
No!
Nope. Oh, we have that small... they literally play with 0 MS or 0 lag. Like, their ping is perfect. They can literally time everything perfectly. That's why sometimes we do see, especially in the 2v2s, when there's a small problem with the lag spike, if there is. We haven't had any of those in a while, actually, to see the players raise their hand. But when they have that, you notice it so much here, especially here with the land settings. So we'll see if Tochi will be able to kind of come back, because, like you said, 0 wins. Not they lost the first set, but they haven't won a single game yet.
Yeah, this has been DragonX top to bottom, and Line has one more game to conclude the shutout for DragonX here. Tochi needs to find some magic. You can see a big sigh there from Tochi. He knows that so much is on the line.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah, so much on the line.
All right, I'll try to no more puns for a little bit, just for a little bit. Now it's the skeletons from Tochi this time, and the bats from Line. Is Line going with some kind of balloon shenanigans this time, perhaps? You see bats paired up with that a lot. Ooh, the flying machine though, so maybe a couple different things, but now might be Line thinking about potentially, well, there's a couple decks that use the flying machine these days. There's Lava, there's Clone deck, which with the Lumberjack.
All right, this time around, Tochi's gonna bring around with that Royal Giant.
Great zap there. The bats are, of course, out. It's gonna get 3 shots. No, only 2.
That's more than good enough, and Tochi knows that. All right, Royal Giant. Basically, it's great to even pressure early game. You don't have to wait for double elixir time to kind of do your cycle that you feel like you feel comfortable with. You can do that early. He has been defeated by that in the previous game, and he knows that, and he's bringing that Royal Giant for himself. We'll see if Lion is going to actually bring out the Lava Hound this time around.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's 1,000,000% a clone on the back of this, and you're going to have to be, you're forced to drop the Lumberjack, which is not ideal. You don't want this Lumberjack to be out there before the Royal Giant is, because ideally you're going to use the Lumberjack, and look at this, it pulls the Lava Hound out of rage.
Yeah.
You want to use the Lumberjack against the Royal Giant here because the Zap is available to clean up your Skarmy.
Yep. So that Skarmy is basically going to be useless.
Yep. So not bad here though by Line. He's getting decent amount of damage from the pups. The flying machine gets a bit of value for him. Now, okay, this is smart. You're using the bats to bait out the Zap this time instead, but Tochi doesn't fall for it.
He's going to hold on to that Zap like he said exactly. The bait with the bats, but still, it's a great choice because bats, even if it's not zapped, it's still it's a ton of damage with high attack speed. So it's gonna be, I guess, almost as equally good as his Skarmy surrounding, not as good.
I was just about to say you can 100%. You can 100% Skarmy onto that Knight there. Save it. That's a really smart changeup from Line here. Saving it because now you can get that, get this Lumberjack in where you want it. Now you get the clone. Here we go. The Fireball is good, but it misses some of the units. A lot of pups into the Baby Dragon are locked on, and that is going to be a tower down for Tochi. Can Line defend?
Wow, that was a great clone. Not only because he got the Princess Tower down, but as the Fisherman was about to pull that Lumberjack away so it can't give that rage, he cloned it. He kept one Lumberjack alive to be able to drop that rage on top of the Baby Dragon and the Lava Hound.
Impeccable play.
Yeah.
Impeccable play from Line. So many great things to take away from that. So many good uses of his spells. His changeup of his rotation, really strong. Fantastic match. Textbook play.
Textbook play. Well, I don't think it's textbook because it's too good for a textbook play, right? Like it's extracurricular.
Like Pulitzer winning.
Yeah, it's like summer
winning
school.
Novel.
It's like AP classes that you take, not a regular class. But yeah, that was great play coming in from Line. Tochi did try his best by switching up his deck as well to kind of play a more stable deck with the Royal Giant, but just Line just played better. Not that Tochi played bad, but just Line played better.
Exactly. It wasn't a bad deck at all for Tochi in that situation in a lot of ways. I mean, you got Zap and Fireball available to deal with the clone shenanigans. You got to make those land, though, but it was just an outplay by Line, able to work around it, get his rotations in sync. That big push that you're looking for with those clone decks gets it done. And with that really fantastically interesting Executioner Royal Giant deck before that was really, really good too. Tell you what, guys, coming up next, Kicks versus Ponos. Stick around. This is going to be a darn good one.
Let's go.
Welcome back, everyone, to Clash Royale League Asia 2019 season number 2. We're through our first match of the day. DragonX quickly dispatching Talon. Now we are moving on to Kicks versus Ponos. This ought to be a darn good one. Pono started out the season sluggishly, has come back strong. Kicks started out the season very hot, then kind of ran into some bumps in the middle of everything here. So can't wait to see what these two teams got for us today. Okay, just put your hands in the middle and do a little thing. Okay, there we go. Ponos has got a good one. I like that. I like the look.
Yeah,
Mikan
couldn't keep it. His poker face, it did not last for more than 2 seconds.
Oh,
they almost had it.
They tried. I like the attempt. That was the best attempt we've had so far at the pre-game ritual. And we're moving into the 2v2. So kind of what we saw in the last 1v1s is what we're seeing across a lot of the regions is a lot of Lava Hound and a lot of Royal Giant. And gotta rub it in your face a little bit.
Oh, gosh.
It was a golem.
Yes, it was. Tochi.
I was right.
Tochi brought that last card that we didn't get to see from Tochi. It wasn't a Lava Hound. I was wrong. It was a golem.
You made a great justification for it. I'll give you that.
I was trying to make it work because in my head, I believed it was a Lava Hound. So I was like, all right, I'm going to force it. And, I tried my best, but it was a golem.
Speaking of potential Lava Hounds coming through, look what Kicks banned. They banned the Executioner here. Really interesting idea from Malinton and IMJP. I mean, when we got to see them in their previous 1v1, or excuse me, 2v2, they played very, very well. They dismantled JTV and Trainer Dexter's, bringing in that E-Dragon and making it work very well. Tons of effectiveness from that. What is going to be their idea today? I mean, obviously, yeah, the Executioner really, really makes you think Lava Hound.
Yeah. I hope that it's a Lava Hound this time, at least in the 2v2s, because, it's less rare to see a Lava Hound, especially with the Tornado ban and even the Executioner ban. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we even saw 4 Lava Hound on the field at one point.
Yeah, anything's still in play, though. Yeah, really. Anything's still in play. Graveyard, of course. Just basically just about any kind of deck you want to do, but it just makes me lean towards that is something they're thinking. There's other potential ideas that they're going to pull through here, and we'll see what exactly Malinton and JP have got. Legend!
Yeah.
Legend coming through in the 1v1, so we can see him for the first time in that 1v1 slot this season. Pedro has been phenomenal for them, of course, 4-2 in his sets, but it's time to kind of let Pedro rest potentially just a little bit and give Legend a shot. We know he's a darn good 1v1 player.
Yeah, he is. He was. I want to say he was because we haven't seen him play 1v1 this season yet. We did see him beat Benzer in King of the Hill once. So, that one game, one of the King of the Hill that Legend played in the past, he did beat Benzer. However, what I'm referring to is the past season, Legend came out for the designated 1v1 player, did not do so well. So we'll see if he had, taking that break from 1v1, moving on to 2v2 with Onion, doing not so bad. Maybe he's got his goodies back for that 1v1.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Legend play the 1v1s again. He plays really interesting decks, particularly that Cannon Cart Royal Giant deck. The previous season was quite fun to watch him maneuver and work around with that. It's a powerful deck for him early on, and he usually comes with something that's a little bit off meta, a little something off key, and we'll see if that does come to fruition. But first, we got to do this. Malinton and IMJP versus Mikan Bui and Tengad. This ought to be a darn good 2v2. Both of these teams are real good at 2v2.
The funny thing is, though, today's 1v1, I know we're on to 2v2, but today's 1v1 is Rikey Jones, right?
Yeah.
Ponos, they're literally just going through. Everybody's going to play 2 1v1s by the end of the season.
I like the idea. Just give everybody some kind of experience and some practice. Get them ready for the playoffs, which they expect to be an oops.
Yeah, that's a big oops. That's a big double oops. The Lumberjack didn't even catch the attention of the miners. The miner locked on. They sent the log, which did not hit the miner. They put down the Lumberjack, misplaced it.
So it looks like there's that Dark Goblin that the Japanese teams really do favor, and it is going to be the Goblin Barrel. So we're going back to the spell cycle here for Ponos. I like the idea with the Executioner being banned.
So many pokes coming through with that Goblin Barrel.
Yeah, that was a really effective Goblin Barrel, and it really stinks that they used that log early on here.
Yeah.
It's going to be even the Skeleton Barrel here as well. So the barrels for days for Ponos coming through, and this time the log having to be used to clean up. Gets a lot of value, gets all those skeletons and the Dark Goblin, but a bunch of damage is coming through on that bottom right-hand tower.
Yeah, that miner with the Lumberjack. Once again, the Lumberjack wasn't able to lock or force that lock on from the miner. The miner locked onto the Princess Tower, got a ton of damage, while everything else was taking in the front. Nice Giant Snowball to get rid of that Goblin Barrel, but they've already taken so much damage.
Yeah, it was a good lightning to clear the way for the Royal Giant, and once he gets raged up, those shots come down quite quickly for him. So almost evening it up in that push is Kicks here, and no Lava Hound this time around. And that's kind of what you see a lot when you get a ban that you expect is kind of keyed towards something that a lot of times they'll do the opposite.
Yeah, they sway away from it.
Yeah, to try to really trick you. And that is what we are seeing right now a little bit from Kicks. Big cluster at the bridge here with the giant skeleton. Mega Minion comes over, minimizes the damage from that miner. And now we're just kind of waiting to see when the next push is going to come here from either team.
So they're gonna just, whenever you see the two giant skeletons meet at the bridge and they're basically similar health going down at a similar rate, we're not gonna see any counter pushes coming through like we do with other kind of decks. Nice log this time around. So as I was saying, we're not gonna be able to see any of the counter pushes, but here we go with the Royal Giant, but nice Infernal Tower here.
Yep, the lightning is not going to catch it. It gets everything else. It gets the tower, the giant skeleton, the baby dragon. Those had too many more hit points, so that lightning does not work. That is going to be trouble here for Kicks. They're going to have good log against this or snowball. There you go. And now we got to get a shot in, but there is just too much traffic in front, and the bomb, the death damage from the giant skeleton as well. Too much. Couple more pokes here, and the fireball is going to do it.
All right, Ponos. They did it. The Goblin Barrel basically did the work for them. The giant skeleton, everything else, Dark Prince, Baby Dragon, they were all just for defense, just to keep everything that's coming through the bridge at bay. And then they just literally just found the time with the Skeleton Barrel and the Goblin Barrel rotations, forcing out the spells. And if Kicks had to use a log or a giant snowball, either for the Skeleton Barrel or the Miner or the Goblin Barrel, they have 3 different ways to get to the Princess Tower by just crossing the bridge without any problems, and they made good use of that, Ponos.
And to add on to it, you've got that Dark Goblin on the backside of all of this that you want to use the log for. That's like your instinct, but you can't. And then the Dark Goblin gets a ton of value because he just dishes out crazy damage. And so you look at this. Now this time you do catch it because the Dark Goblin had gone over the bridge, but a lot of times the Dark Goblin's able to just sit in the back and just poke away, just fire away right here. You can see it. Look at this. So he gets pulled in by the fisherman. But he can do it. Look at this. They drop another one right in the back. Just blam, blam, blam. And then you can't use the log here. You cannot, because you have to save it for the Goblin Barrel or the Skeleton Barrel.
Correct. And this time around, I guess they didn't have it in the rotations because they definitely had more than enough elixirs, but they decided to put down the Lumberjack and the guards in the front to split place for that Goblin Barrel. Unfortunately, it's not going to get it perfectly, and the spells follow up. They get the win.
All right, timeout going to be used here by Kicks. I think they got a little thrown off. Maybe weren't quite. Maybe they were trying to bait, Ponos into something, and then they didn't come through with what they were expecting. But with Ponos, you always got to be ready for those spell bait type back. They love to do this kind of thing. Goblin barrels, princesses, all these various other things. Hog riders from time to time as well. So you got to be ready for the quicker cycles, especially with the Japanese teams.
Exactly, and in a way, not always, but in a way, especially with Ponos, with that Executioner ban and the Tornado always being banned, it could definitely sign either teams to go for that Lava Hound, that safe pick. But like we're saying, Ponos, they're a team that Executioner ban and that Tornado ban usually doesn't matter for them. Whatever is banned, what they bring, the quick cycles, it doesn't matter what is banned usually. They can make it work because it is a cycle deck. It is a chip cycling deck. So, as long as they get small chip damages coming through with the Lava Hound, Goblin Barrel, spells, Executioner ban or not, it could have been anything else that's banned. They would have still done well with the same deck that they have brought.
Yeah, that's pretty true. There really isn't much that you can ban out against Ponos. Mostly with the bans, you're trying to set, I think, yourself up for something you want to do against a team like Ponos that has the ability to play so many different things in their 2v2s, and they're one of the few teams, along with a couple other Japanese teams, that really will dive into using the cycle decks and using those spell bait decks as well. So let's see how Kicks is going to change this up. The timeout is over, and now we are into the second game with Ponos being up 1-0 right now. And now we're just going to wait a little bit here. Neither team wants to. I think Kicks a big reason they're not doing anything is because they want to save their spells in case it's, you know, another bait.
Correct. It's a great choice, and this time around, Kicks, they decide to go for that lava hound, a split. Ooh, graveyard here.
Whoa, all right. Barbarians are going to be in here, but they don't last long against Dark Princes.
No.
Oh boy, the defensive poison at least is going to mitigate the damage from the graveyard, so not bad. There is an Inferno Tower up on the top right. The pups are going to chip down on it. You might get a blast or two.
No blast, but I also wanted to mention before we actually get into the crazy parts of this 2v2. Last time around, Kicks beat Ponos 2-0. They sweep them. So this is basically the revenge match. It's not the exact same matchup because last time it was Legend and Onion for that 2v2, and it was Pedro on that 1v1. But this time around, the lineup for Kicks is totally different. So we'll see how or what the outcome will be here.
That Ice Spirit got so much value. You didn't get a bat that did lock on there, but it got the Flying Machine and 4 bats.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
More than good enough.
It's better than good.
Yeah, better than good. But anyways, we also see, once again, Ponos bringing out the Graveyard Cycle. Pretty light deck here. They're going to always just, since they have 2 graveyards, they're going to constantly go. Even if they use defensive poison for one of them, it's not going to matter too much. They have another graveyard in cycle. They also have that Infernal Tower, perfect for that Lava Hound.
Yeah, this time the pup split enough that you're going to get a little extra damage there onto the right-hand side. Now we're switching over to the left. There is the P.E.K.K.A. here. You see this a lot with these graveyard decks now. To tank a lot. They're so beefy. They have so many hit points. Knocks out that Brawler.
That looks dangerous. That P.E.K.K.A. is getting closer and closer.
Got the E-Wiz to distract, and the bats are okay. So you bought time, but you took a bunch of damage. Now the pups are out. Get that Miner in great position here, so it distracts that Musketeer for a little bit. You're getting some extra damage, nothing substantial.
Not so great, even though this time around, Ponos didn't put down the Inferno Tower to defend against the Lava Hound. They just had, a Musketeer just doing a ton of damage even before as the Lava Hound was crossing. It died out very quickly.
That time the cycle is not good. The freeze comes down late. Is there anything there? Oh, log just in time, but it's at 197.
Wow.
And the poison is going to do it.
Wow.
Ponos with a dominant 2-0.
You know what the funny thing was? Yeah, the Dark Prince and a couple other units were crossing the bridge, but when Ponos threw down that freeze, there were only 3 skeletons left from that graveyard, and the graveyard was finished. And they still threw down that poison. I was like, okay, 3 skeleton freeze. Okay, that's great. But then the Dark Prince came in and everything else just followed up. Great play.
Worth it. Totally worth it at that point. A nice try here. Malinson raising his eyebrows a little bit there. I think just caught off guard a bit by what Ponos can do. The Ponos doing a great job. Anytime one of those lavas got thrown down immediately, it was Dark Prince, Baby Dragon, Graveyard. Just bang, right on the other side, and knowing that, there wasn't a ton of Elixir for defense available, and eventually Ponos is able to catch Kicks in kind of a situation where they don't have that defensive poison available, and then it hurts.
Correct. And this is the game number 1. Great, it was great. This cycle that Ponos has brought in game number 1 and 2. Basically, Kicks, the deck that they brought, they wanted to kind of do a strength tug of war at the bridge to see who, is able to get through and get past the bridge better. But Ponos didn't have anything like that. They just put down that giant skeleton in the middle. That's going to clean everything up. Everything else, we're going to just cycle through with the God Barrel, the Miner, and the Scale Barrel.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a giant skeleton, a defensive structure of some kind, and another unit, you can basically protect against just about any push that's coming over that bridge. I mean, that's about all you need. And so from there, you can kind of structure the rest of your deck around that. You use the graveyard or the barrels, and then you find success. As you can see here, they tried. It was so close, but in the end, you're below 200, so poison, fireball, anything like that's going to take care of business.
Yeah, great game. I think it's just, once again, another game where Ponos was so confident in the decks that they practiced. It really didn't matter about the decks and the bans, and they just knew knew how to defend against strong units. They had the Inferno Tower, they had the Musketeer in the back. At one point with the Lava Hound crossing, they had 2 Musketeers defending it, so it was able to get it down even without an Inferno Tower. So Ponos, they almost basically had everything ready to defend and go offensive at the same time.
100%. It's just what you've come to expect from Ponos and 2v2s. They're so good. All right, let's move over to the 1v1. We're going to get to see Legend in the 1v1 set.
Wow.
For the first time this season. Legend has only played one 1v1 game the entire season, and that was against Benzer, and he won in a King of the Hill game. A big win for Kicks that time. And can he do it here? Are we going to see some shenanigans with the Royal Giant? He really likes that. So basically, he can throw down anything else he wants before it. I'm just going to say it's Royal Giant. May or may not be true. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
there's a lot of other things that he plays. Of course, Rikey, we've seen him be all over the board with various different decks that he can play. So excited to see what both of these players are going to bring. Like I said, tons of lava coming out and tons of Royal Giant in the other regions. Some various other things here. It seems like the Giant Skeleton kind of fallen out of the 1v1 meta a little bit. Still around, but haven't seen as much of it recently.
I would love to see both of them bring a Giant Skeleton now. Just to prove
That'd be great. Go right ahead. Prove me wrong. I love it. I love it when players do stuff that I'm not expecting. That is 100% like what makes this exciting, when they do stuff that you're not expecting.
And I'm looking at Rikey Jones, the way he plays. You know when you see Mikambuya play, he has this little stance of like he's about to get into like a karate fight or something like that, right? Yeah. Like he has his body tilted. Rikey has like a miniature version of that. If you notice, like he has a small tilt, but it's not as big as Mikambuya's, where he's like, so Mikambuya is a sensei and Rikey Jones is like the student trying to learn the stance. Because like if you see all the other players, like they're standing straight, they have both their hands like correctly, evenly placed on the device. Like Rikey Jones and Mikambuya, they have this little tilt. Like it feels like Rikey, he's leaning onto that table, and you can see like it just it's just fun and great to like observe the players. Oh yeah, they all have their own like kind of slightly unique way. Like a lot of people, like for a long time, like I got razzed by some of the other casters because I play with one finger. And most of the players play with their thumbs to place their units and do their thing. But there are some, like Legend, who are one-finger players. Some of the best players in the world are one-finger players. So I say to them, "Aha!" You know TNT plays with one hand but with 2 fingers?
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I don't know if he plays like that all the time.
Yeah.
But last time when he played and the camera caught his hands, he was playing with 2 fingers from one hand.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
not
cool.
a thumb.
There's a lot of different things you can do. And, depending on your device, I think a lot of it has to do with like what device you have.
Correct, yeah.
Because sometimes they're really big and it's hard to kind of get your hands around them and that kind of thing. So we're just going to wait. This is from time to time we see this. All right, lava here from Rikey. You can guess with a zap, and it's going to be the recruits. Legend always with the surprises. We do see the recruits from time to time across the world now. They gained a little bit of popularity as time has gone on. We saw it in West the other day. So, the Baby Dragon's pretty good at dealing with them, though.
That's more than good enough. And there we go with the Musketeer with the balloon following up. Nice Furnace to distract it for a little bit with the double Fire Spirits landing on there. Lava Hound Puff breaks through. Not going to be doing too much, but that Miner in the back will, do a lot of damage there. Yeah,
the Miner in the back for both players getting some damage, but right now it is advantage Legend. Quite a bit coming through with his push with that balloon. And the recruits as well, and there's that Fisherman, of course. And once the Baby Dragon comes down, you can see the Musketeer. Musketeer's a good unit to deal with that. You're going to have the you're going to get that Miner in the back, but he gets pulled out by the Fisherman. That is problematic here for Rikey Jones. That is 222 left on that Princess Tower, and that Furnace is weak now as well. What does Rikey have for defense? A Fireball, that's not bad.
Yeah, but another Musketeer placed in the back, and that's going to be good enough to get that Baby Dragon down. Well, now Rikey is on the run. He has to go crazy on defense. And there we go, another Miner. He has nothing for that, and a clean win by Legend.
Yep, Legend, a little bit more speed in that deck available for him with the balloon, and is just able to kind of push through. And of course, you've got the Royal Recruits there to absorb a lot of damage. And the Baby Dragon's pretty good against them, gets those shields off of it, but then you need something else to kind of take them down after that because they are a little bit tanky underneath it. So nicely done. Really love when we get to see Legend come play because he's one of those players like Dandelion that'll come out and just bring stuff that is off meta and very fun to watch.
Exactly, and if you noticed, Legend literally just put down one Mega Minion for that Lava Hound Infernal Dragon as it crossed, and then when it died, he just put down another Mega Minion because he was able to cycle through. So he was defending with very, very cheap units, and he added on the bats later for that Infernal Dragon as well. But he knew that he's going to take the minimal amount of damage. He wasn't trying to defend it perfectly. He was just trying to take the least damage possible by defending it on the left side as he was just going full throttle on the right side with the Balloon, with the Miner, with the Musketeers in the back, and the Recruits.
Yeah, and what's fascinating about Legend is, yes, he plays so well, and that Mega Minion placement is really, really strong. And you just don't know what to bring against him. You're lost because you don't know exactly what he's gonna do. He's a hard player to predict, and that's when he comes out in a situation like this. If you're Rikey Jones, you know Rikey's probably preparing, for Pedro the whole time, the whole week leading up to today. And it turns out that you got to go against Legend, and you're like, well, just throw everything I did out the window because I have no idea what this guy's gonna do. If you smell the Recruits, then you can try some other things. Executioner's quite good against it as well, and because you can do like Tornado to drag him into the Executioner's range and that kind of thing. There's a bunch of other answers. Baby Dragon's not terrible, but it's not the best of the best that you can bring.
Yeah, well, if it's just the Recruits coming through and, your opponent is focusing on the other lane and you put the Baby Dragon on the Recruit side with the 40 Recruits, yeah, the Baby Dragon is going to be good enough. But with the Balloon also forcing your defense to put down more units with the Musketeer in the back blocking onto the Baby Dragon while your Baby Dragon is attacking the tanky Recruits, it's not going to be good enough to have one Baby Dragon down for everything else that your opponent put down. So Rikey Jones, he seems a little bit disappointed. I think you're correct about, throwing out everything he practiced and just coming out here, and he just has to play better than Legend.
And this is why these teams mix it up. They don't just stick. Yes, they have excellent 1v1 players, of course, like Pedro, but they don't just stick with him because sometimes you got to get a read on the matchup and just go for it. And it is going to be Legend taking the first game, of course. Now let's see if they're going to wait it out again. Nope, this time it's Skeletons from Legend.
Yeah, Legend, it could be anything. I'm just curious if Rikey Jones is able to come back from this because he was very disappointed. It felt like he was almost confident that, when he got to the sudden death and, they waited, they leaked Elixir until sudden death, and he just put down that Lava Hound, and he was very confident. There's a Sparky.
Whoa, and the 3 Musketeers. The legendary trio, and it's just going to be this, looks like about a standard Goblin Giant Sparky deck. Now, if you can do this right, it's not so bad, but that is a great Fisherman. Now, the Fireball is available. Good use of the Skeletons here. So that is going to be a dead Sparky, but a little bit of extra damage done. Here come the Hoggies. It's the Royal Hogs with this Dark Prince. Not too bad at defending against them, of course, because he can place it right. Just like that in front of the tower, they can bunch up into his AoE range. Now you're going to have to zap that Musketeer to avoid the shot coming out from there.
Wow. So that Dark Prince, basically, it was kind of distracted. It's not a bad defense against the Royal Hog, like you said, but with the Musketeer in the back just getting everything. If it was just a Dark Prince and a Royal Hog, that Dark Prince could have been and done so much more against Legend, but that Musketeer in the back getting rid of it before just basically blocked Rikey Jones, and he had to reset everything.
Now what Legend can do is he can wait for that Sparky, exactly, put it on the right-hand side to match it with the lane that has the larger number of Musketeers, because now you don't have to use the Fireball just on them. Is there a zap? Yes, there is.
Okay, and one of the Musketeers actually locked onto that Sparky, so that's actually a ton of damage.
I was just about to say, now the problem becomes for Rikey is if there's a zap, then you reset that Sparky and it gets really problematic. All right, we're just going to bridge spam. We got the Hunter here. We're going to get the extra damage, but these minions are pretty healthy. One is enough because those minions hit hard.
Oh my goodness. With this Spirit Goblin is also doing a couple damage as well. The Royal Ghost on the left side is going to just chip damage. Yeah, maybe if Rikey keeps leaving that Royal Ghost on the left side to just do its damage, later on, Legend's just going to switch lanes and just go full throttle on the left side, but at least until now, Rikey is focusing on the right side, forcing Legend to stay on lane with him.
Okay, he's gonna try it here. It's gonna be
Dead Royal Ghost.
Dead Royal Ghost. Royal Ghost, only one shot. There aren't many units that can survive more than one blow from a Sparky. Ooh, good zap here. It's gonna pull it into the Hunter, but the Hunter shoots early. Oh,
that was close.
that was really close.
That was close. Oh my goodness, I love just seeing Sparky. The mechanics of it, like
it's so wonky.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so fun. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna get the Hogs. Can we get the Fireball, or what are we gonna do here? Minions and we're gonna activate the King Tower.
King Tower activation.
So
Okay.
no hits from the Goblin Giant in the bottom right in the meantime. So far, Legend is avoiding critical damage, but it is getting kind of close. Another hit from the Goblin Giant is going to basically put it within spell range. Now he's got to defend. He's got to use that Fireball on those Hogs this time, but with the extra help from the King Tower, not too bad. And they're going to get a swing.
No stab. Wow, Legend defended it perfectly. The Spirit Goblins never locked onto the Princess Tower. The Goblin Giant never locked onto the Princess Tower. It would have been game over.
But the Royal Ghost is going to connect onto the Princess Tower. It's not the end of the world, but it's a lot of damage being done there because of that. A lot of extra damage that you don't want. That Royal Ghost hits pretty hard. All right, the Hunter is cycled in. You're going to use the Goblin Giant. The Skeleton. Oh, good Fireball is going to take that down. This is going to be it.
Okay. Rikey does come back. The funny thing is, Legend, he split pushed both Princess Towers so much. Both of Rikey's Princess Tower were at like 630 something. Both of them. Whereas, Rikey just forced that push on the right side over and over again, and he was able to, eventually win. But if you think about it, if you just do a couple hundred less damage onto one and just focus it on the other, Legend could have already won just by damage done, but life is life. Life is life. You had to split.
A great zap there by Legend to reset that Sparky. And that, Sparky's great against the Three Musketeers, but a lot of times you're going to see zap in there just in case, because if you get too much, if you get both of those Musketeers from the Sparky shot, they do each Musketeer is going to get a shot before the Sparky does because they outrange him just barely, but it's still like a ton of value for the Sparky player. It's still a ton.
Yeah, as long as a Sparky gets a shot off onto something that's more valuable than the Sparky itself, or even onto that Princess Tower, obviously as a Sparky player, that's the best feeling in the world as you're playing.
Oh, it's so satisfying. Or when it hits anything it hits that kills it in one shot is the most satisfying thing. There's a couple units that drive me nuts because they don't die in one shot, like the Valkyrie and even the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah.
Those drive me bonkers because they don't die in one shot to Sparky.
Game 3.
And they're strong.
And they're really strong. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is a nuisance. Valkyrie as well. All right, it is all tied up here. If Rikey Jones win this, it's over. Pono takes the match.
Yeah.
And that would be huge for them, as like you said earlier on. They're tied in the standings right now.
Yep. Right now with the set and games, Kix is on top of them. They're currently second, even with the same match scores. But if Ponos wins, like I said, that's just gonna bring them up to second place just because of the match wins. It's gonna be it's a very important match here.
Yeah, and what is Rikey thinking here? We can no longer say with Skeletons and Ice Golem that it's always gonna be like Expo or something like that. We see too much other stuff coming out. It's gonna be the Hog Rider here from Legend. It's time. We got the Royal Ghost this time from Rikey. We're gonna get that. It's gonna get one Thor Hammer swing in there, but that is it. And now you've got the bats here, right?
Ooh, okay, so nice for, actually that was a nice Royal Hog for Legend, because the bats were about to get past and just basically die to the Princess Tower. But because Rikey put down those Royal Hogs, the bats were able to do and get some value out of their existence.
And here's the more usual variant of the Executioner Valkyrie that we see is with good King Tower activation once again by Rikey Jones. But he does take a decent amount of damage from the Hog Rider that time around before he's able to get it going. And Rikey's kind of trying to turn the tables here a bit onto Legend. Is it going to be the Three Musketeers at the back? I don't know. There's other stuff you can put on the back end of this as well. But this is more what you would expect when you see the Valkyrie and the Executioner from Legend. It's typically done with a Hog Rider.
Exactly. All right, we'll have to see because Rikey, yeah,
It
it's exactly the same deck that Legend played. And oh my god, the Zap and the Fireball gets rid of one side. And now Legend's going to go push in with the Hog Riders. Nothing else. The Fisherman is going to focus on the Hog a little bit later. It does get one swing.
All right, here we go. We got the Valkyrie and potentially an Executioner available for defense against the Royal Hogs, but they get through this time to a fair amount of damage. It's almost even up, 1,256 to 1,036. Bats are going to get a couple hits in for themselves, but kind of unimportant on this top right tower. Whoop! Right by the Royal Ghost. What?
No, he almost hit it far range, and he's like, my sword doesn't reach, and he canceled his attack. He went back, and there we go. Once again, nice Zap Fireball here.
That's what he wanted to do the first time around. It was just a little late on it. Legend with great reaction time the second time around. That is a 6 to 9 elixir value trade here for him. And now he's going to get the Hog Rider in. It is a very strong Hog Rider. He's got the Hunter. It gets another swing. It's getting close to critical damage for Rikey. Can he find a way to turn this around?
I don't know. Does he? There we go. He's going to try his best. And Legend does not care as long as he gets his tower down first. But those Royal Hogs not going to be good enough. Yeah, the Hog Rider is going to be more than good enough. And Legend is going to bring kicks to King of the Hills.
Excellent stuff here from Legend. Coming up clutch for his team when they really, really needed him. And it came down to the final game as well. Great deck choice by him at the end. Really, I don't think he probably expected what Rikey was going to do. I did not expect Rikey to go right into. I mean, Rikey is one of those people who will play the Three Musketeers from time to time. It is something he likes, but man, when you have Zap Fireball, forget it. That's the end of those Musketeers. These pro players are so good. They're able to connect on that. And man, oh man, we are going to get a King of the Hill, and this ought to be a doozy. This should be so, so fun. I can't wait to see what their lineups are.
Yeah, the Three Musketeers, the spawn time, because, you know, the past couple, patches when the Three Musketeers spawn time got longer, it got a lot easier for the Zap Fireball. As long as you have it, you're basically gonna get rid of at least two, like Legend did when even though he did it slow, he was still able to get rid of 2 Musketeers out of the 3. And afterwards, he just constantly started to get rid of all 3 of them and even do a little bit of damage to the King Tower because it was already activated. But either way, it was a great, I guess, reverse psychology that Rikey played because he brought the exact same deck Legend brought the game right before that. And unlucky for Rikey that Legend was so ready for that with the spells.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, Legend does not bring Tornado in there.
Yeah.
And that's like something you would expect a lot of times with those units, especially a Valkyrie and an Executioner. But in this situation, it was the right. I think either would have been fine here instead of a Fireball, but makes it a little easier for him to get that tower chip damage in as well. So there you can see the race here at the end, trying to get that snowball in, but it was too little, too late for Rikey Jones, and now
King of the Hills in Group A. How long has it been? Because last week I did Group A with Simon, and it was 3-2-0s. We didn't get to see a single King of the Hills. So, and the past week I think it was also 3-2-0s. I'm not 100% sure, or if we had one King of the Hill for Group A, but either way, it's been a long time.
It's a lot of 2-0s.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of 2-0s in Group A, and for the reason for that, I don't know. It's just the way it's shaked out. Here we go. Pedro, IMJP, Legend versus Rad, Rikey Jones, and Tengad. So fascinating lineups from both teams. Man, oh man. My money is ever so slightly on kicks on this one, but not by much. I mean, Ponos can 100% do this. We've seen this all the time from guys like Rikey and Rad and Tengad, where they come through clutch in these King of the Hills and give Ponos a victory. And they're going to start it off with Pedro here for kicks. He's lost his only King of the Hill game he's played, but that's not much to really, give you any kind of idea of, what's going to happen here.
We'll have to see because, you say your money is on kicks, and I can't disagree totally, but just looking at the past games that Ponos has played in 1v1 in King of the Hills, like I said, they're rotating all of their players in the 1v1s, and it feels like all players are going to play at least 2 1v1s by the end of the season. And also in King of the Hills, like, you know, everybody except for TenGod has played King of the Hills, but TenGod also has that 1v1 experience that I was talking about. So it just feels like Pono's, like you were saying before, for the finals, they're getting all of their players ready for 1v1. And, you know, last season we did see 2 to 3 players not play King of the Hills or not play 1v1 at all. So they weren't as ready in King of the Hills, but this time around, I think Pono's may just be a little bit stronger in King of the Hills because it's just one game apiece, right? There's no preparing after you lose, changing your decks. It's just one game, that's it.
And I think you can add a lot to this that they have a veteran aspect here. I mean, they've been on the big stages multiple times. They've been through tons of King of the Hills. They know how to prepare for this mentally and, you know, both in terms of their actual in-game practice. So, Pedro versus Rad to kick things off. Rad, the MVP for Ponos in the finals. And it is going to be Pedro here with a Hog Rider of his own. So Kix is liking the Hog Rider today, even with the Fisherman being in the meta, activating those King Towers. This is still something that Kix feels very comfortable with, and Rad's going to immediately get down with that Royal Giant, and an Executioner comes for Pedro. Is Pedro just a very similar deck, not exactly the same. We didn't see the guards last time from Legend.
All right, so right now, even though Pedro does have that Hog Rider, Rad bringing that Fisherman is going to negate a lot of the damage, even without using any spells. However, on the other hand, Rad has a Royal Giant, and he's going to lock... If that Royal Giant locks on at least 1 to 2 cannon shots, that's going to be more than good enough to go up against a Hog deck.
Yeah, the good placement of the guards here is going to eliminate the minions and the Musketeer. Really nicely done there by Pedro. Immediately, we're getting the bridge spam from the Royal Giant. All right, it's going to be a Tornado to drag all this back, as well as an Ice Spirit. I'm not sure if this is enough damage to prevent any shots. It is.
Okay.
That is enough damage to prevent any shots from the Royal Giant. So, Pedro's got an answer built in to the Royal Giant, but it's pricey.
It definitely is. Royal Giant, 6 elixirs. The combination that he used with the Tornado, Ice Spirit, and the Execution, that's 8 elixirs. So that's 8 to 6 trade here if he wants to defend it perfectly.
Yep, good placement with the guards once again, and using the log to prevent any damage. So the defense strong for both players so far. And Pedro, what is going on the back end of all of this? We've seen this kind of deck with the Royal Giant, the Musketeer, and the Knight a little bit here and there.
All right. Here we go. Oh, the Fisherman's going to pull it even before it gets a swing in. You can see the Hog Rider swing his hammer, but no damage goes in because he was in the process of getting that swing. So, yeah, this time, perfect defense. No damage going in from that Hog Rider. Nice Fireball. It's just basically going to just push the Executioner up forward.
Yep.
And once again, no shots.
Now this is smart. You've got the guards to flank here to protect the... but they are blocked by the Knight. So the Hog goes in on the King Tower. Oh, it gets one throw. That's a big deal.
Big.
That is a big deal here. Nicely done by Pedro, but here comes the counter punch, the Tornado, and the Ice Spirit going to drag everything back. That Fireball just enough with an extra shot there from the Musketeer. Good sap to clean up those guards. That gives you 2 shots from the Royal Giant. Nicely done by Rad.
That was a lot of shots, and this time it just feels like the Fisherman is just causing so much problems for Pedro right now, just dragging the Hog. If it was not a Fisherman, if it was just a regular Furnace Royal Giant deck, I think it would, Pedro definitely had a chance, but that Fisherman just causing a lot of problems, and this is why that we haven't seen a lot of Hog Riders.
All right, this time it is going to get the Ice Golem, so it's just the skeletons, but it's going to get the pull again anyway after that Ice Golem is dealt with. But that is a little bit extra damage. Pedro's got about 5 elixir to work with. Ice Spirit's going to delay the minions. What has he got here? He's got the Ice Golem for the Knight and the Fisherman. And now he's got the Executioner. Will it get both? No, it does not.
It's still going to be good enough. The Fisherman's going to pull it in. One more swing. Nope.
Oh, boy.
Oh, gosh. Rad has that Fireball and the Zap. And here we go. He's going to just constantly chip in with the Fireball and the Zap onto the tower.
Gets the guards as well.
Royal Giant, very healthy.
Oh, he's going to get the second shot, yes.
Wow. So, Pedro once again defeated in King of the Hills. 2 losses in King of the Hills.
2 losses.
Yeah.
Surprising, considering how good he is in his 1v1 sets. And it isn't like he's often losing the first game in his 1v1 sets or anything like that either.
Yeah, he does a lot of 2-0s in 1v1s.
Yeah. So I think we gotta potentially move away from the Hog. It looks like Ponos is very strong with their Fisherman play. Look at that Knight blocking those guards there and dragging that Hog Rider away. It's so good. I mean, you do get that axe throw in, which does a ton of damage, but now look at this Fireball. Hits the Executioner and the guards and the tower. That's nutso.
And also brings the Executioner closer to the Musketeer range so he can get rid of it before it gets a second throw, allowing that Royal Giant to get another hit.
That's a massively good Fireball.
Basically, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Basically, it's a godlike Fireball.
Yeah.
That one Fireball, man.
Dude, Rad, man, he is excellent. And now we're over to IMJP.
Okay.
And JP, we've seen him in the King of the Hills as well. And he has had quite a bit of success. 3 wins, 2 losses. He's beaten JTV, Careless, and lost to Benzer, Chaos Theory. And then he beat Tattoos on Talon, but lost to Tochi.
Yeah, it's funny because IMJP beats Tattoos in King of the Hills, right? But Pedro loses to Tattoos in King of the Hills. So you know, you can tell that no matter how good you are as a 1v1 or a King of the Hill player, even Benzer, even Pedro, even IMJP, and maybe even Ice Law, right, on Group B, they all have somewhat of a counter depending on what player or what style of a player that you're going up against. So it's very interesting to see the records of who played who and who beat who. It's kind of like a very large vicious cycle. Like he beats him, he beats him. It's like
you feel like you know, like in their deck pool, it's like, all right, your deck pool is best against this person's deck pool, so we're gonna throw you in. I mean, that's probably why Legend. You saw Legend come in today.
Oh yeah.
4 kicks. They just felt like he had a little bit more action there, a little bit more potential against Pono. So it's going to be the second game of our King of the Hill. The first one taken by Rad. He defeats Pedro in a big win for Ponos. Now we're going to get that coin flip. That emote just came out today with the new patch. And the Bandit coin flip, I like it. I like it. Rad's feeling confident after that win. And there's the chicken that is my favorite. That is my new favorite.
The chicken.
I love the chicken.
The chicken. But yep, we're going to get a little bit of leak.
All right, Bats.
Yeah, IMJP, to be honest, right now, he did get 2-0'd in that 2v2 set that he played with Malatin. So let's hope that he had a little bit of time to recuperate and come back here. Oh my god, tongue twisted.
It's going to be the Lava Hound here for IMJP. He's just going to have to eat that damage from the Goblin Gang. The Minion Horde coming in on the back end. Good Fireball, though. Still got some Spear Goblins to deal with. Do you have a Zap here, JP? They are in a weird, awkward spot, so be careful with the Zap. Okay. There it is. Yep. All right, and the Zap as well from Rad, but Rad is going to take pretty significant damage from the Lava Hound push. And, you know, Rad with this deck, most likely Mortar, but there's some other stuff you can, of course, always, never mind.
Yep.
Forget it. Just
hey, you're a Sparky player, man.
I know, I'm fine with this. This is totally great. Is this going to be a Royal Giant?
Sparky? Wait, are you talking about...
A Rad.
Yeah, you're talking about Rad, Royal Giant Sparky.
I don't know what this could be. This is weird.
Okay,
Giant, it's just a regular Giant. Okay. There is a Royal Giant Sparky deck that isn't the one I use. That all right, not bad with the Barbarians there. That's gonna get rid of that Sparky.
All right, so here we go. Once again, the Baby Dragon locks on, and the bats are put down, but still the Baby Dragon locking on. Even the Barbarians, both of them getting at least, all right, one of them got 2 swings, one got 1 swing, so that's more than good enough. Look at the damage that IMJP has done to both towers.
So what Rad has to do here is set the tempo of the game. The offensive pressure has to be relentless. He can't let Lava Hounds come down in a consistent fashion. He has to find ways to not let JP use it as much as possible. So, you know, you got it. There you go. JP's going to do it, and immediately going to counter with the Giant, with the Goblin Gang. This is what I'm talking about. Get it going. Get in there. You don't have much to deal with those Barbarians in that situation, though. It's going to be a good Fireball here. It's going to get the Sparky as well, so Sparky's not going to get a shot because of that Inferno.
All right, so, yeah, that's Sparky, and then the Giant split. I don't know. you usually want to, like, it basically just felt like Rad was throwing out that Sparky.
Yeah.
And yeah, the damage that he done with the counter still was not good enough, not even close to what JP has done.
Bizarrely enough, yes, you gotta wait for the Barbarians, and then you can Sparky. That's the only unit that you're gonna get a lot of value out of with Sparky. There is the Minion Horde to deal with the Inferno. Dragon, in the back there, the Miner's gonna get dealt with by the Goblin Gang. A counter Miner coming down from Rad here. All he has is an Inferno Dragon to deal with it, though. That's not ideal. Zap coming in here as well. Some Goblins are coming in, getting some big pokes in the front.
All right, so Rad doing a little bit of a weird split. I thought, you know, he was on the backside, but now he has come back. But now, once again, he has to defend this perfectly. We do have the bats down. We do have the Lava Hound locking on. Even the Mega Minions, I mean, not the Mega Minions, Minion Hordes coming down here.
There's too much available here. I think Rad is going to go down
as well.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
The pressure is too strong. Sparky decks, they're hard against Lava Hounds. It gets weird because there isn't much on the ground for the Sparky to do, and if they have a Zap and some bats or something like that, then and Lava Hound basically almost always brings Zap. It stinks. It's hard.
It definitely stinks. And also, I also want to mention that, you know, JP also got some great trades with the Minion Horde and the Fireball.
Yes.
That one elixir difference, it still adds up a lot because you're able to get rid of all the Minion Hordes, plus do damage to either the Princess Tower or the Sparky if they're close together enough, and you get an elixir benefit from that just one spell.
Oh yeah, we saw him hit the Minion Horde and the Sparky, and you know, you get other units. It's crazy valuable. Bringing Minion Horde is such a risk because so many spells just nullify it. And you know, you want to get in a situation where, with that deck, where you can use the Miner and then maybe throw the Minion Horde behind it, and then, you know, get that Fireball out onto just the Minion Horde or something like that is your hope. But the spells were good. JP able to weather the storm here and give Kicks a win. And now we move over to Rikey Jones for Ponos. And this is, I think this one's going to come down to Game 5, to be honest with you, ending. Yeah. This one is some really good players.
Yeah, we're just going to have to go back and forth. And the funny thing is, you know how I said Pedro lost to Tattoos and IMJP beat Tattoos? Pedro lost to Rad, and then IMJP beat Rad. So it's like, whoever Pedro loses to, just bring IMJP and he's going to beat him.
He's going to beat him
next.
Like
it's like a perfect counter to each other. And it's a great lineup because they're able to do that. If, you know, when you get 3-0 or 2-0 in the beginning of King of the Hills, like as a team, like you feel down. But when you have your next player beat the person that you lost to, you feel better as a team, as a player. And
yeah.
And like you said, this is gonna definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to game 6, if there was any.
If there was let's drag the bench players off. Let's get Onion up on stage. Onion, we're calling you, buddy. Get up here. No, you can't do that. That's not legal. That's not allowed ending. But I mean, I'm fine with it if they want to switch it up.
No, because that's how close this matchup is. Like both sides, they have great players, especially great 1v1 players coming out here. And
if you're a fan of Clash Royale esports, this is what you want. You want to see these two teams in the King of the Hill. This is perfect. All right, it's going to be a Furnace. Now, we no longer only see the Furnace with Royal Giant. I mean, it just, you know, is likely. There's some other junk that comes along with it. Yeah, you're just going to put a Miner out there to deal with it from JP.
The Fisherman is going to finish it up.
It's just going to be the same deck here from JP. We haven't seen him do that I can remember, but maybe.
Well, so far it's the same deck. We'll have to see about that. But Rikey Jones, losing to Legend in set number 2. Let's hope that he's recovered. We'll see how well he'll do.
All right, so meta versus meta here, and you've got these barbs down right away, so you're only going to get one shot out of the RG because the Fireball, because we aren't in 2 elixir, doesn't come out very quickly. You can, if you're really quick on those Fireballs, you can buy yourself a little bit more time, but those Barbarians just mow through.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. But once again, Fireball trade is always great, especially against the Barb. You get that one extra elixir benefit, and when you hit, like Rikey Jones just did, you hit the Baby Dragon with it, you still get a little bit more benefit out of that one Fireball. So JP knows this. He can't allow this to happen over and over again, but he also, on the other hand, has to put down the Barbarian when he sees the Royal Giant, so he has no other choice. Basically, JP has to pressure Rikey Jones.
Yeah, if you're JP, you want to try to get a fireball to come out, and he's got to use a snowball early here.
Yeah.
So when the pups come out, is the fireball going to come?
Nope.
It is not. He's
Not
going
gonna do
to
that.
accept the damage. He's got enough units to kind of tank and deal with it, so no big deal. Absolutely don't need the fireball there. Wise decision here by Rikey for sure.
Double furnace here, so those fire spirits are gonna add up. They're gonna do a lot of damage to that lava hound as it crosses the bridge.
And they hurt, man.
Yeah, it definitely hurts. And look at this. Even JP's baby dragon lock onto the Mega Minion, so all the fire spirits just lock onto that lava hound.
Yeah, and you've got a bunch of units on the ground.
Fireball.
There is going to be JP's fireball, and Rikey is going to try to go for the bridge. Now the fireball should be available here for Rikey, but we're not even going to try it. You can see this. He wants to get some stuff
Pushes
done.
back.
And that is going to be a decent amount of damage for his Royal Giant push. And JP's just going to cycle into the Inferno Dragon this time, trying to keep that Royal Giant at bay as much as possible. But with 2 furnaces, man, that's a lot of damage coming in to everything that's trying to cross that bridge.
Nice fireball. Gets the Mega Minion, gets the baby dragon, gets the damage onto that Princess Tower. Now the miners there. Snowball is used, but still getting some chip damage here. The Fisherman definitely pulls that miner out, so it does, you know, he takes a little bit less damage, but very close right now.
Oh, the Fisherman's going to come in and get some slaps here. Just 2, but that's a decent amount of damage for Rikey. That's a little bit more. This time, though, the Lava Hound is far enough ahead that the Inferno Dragon didn't take a bunch of damage. Now we're going to try another fireball into here. Is there enough damage? Not quite. The pups are cleaned up quickly enough. JP just wants this. He is just going to try to out-damage this.
Though.
Great Fisherman to pull it to the other side.
Still going to go there.
Yeah, it's still going over. The fireball's going to reset the Inferno Dragon. Only one shot.
Oh, wow.
JP is in spell damage range.
There we go, JP with the miner and the zap. Didn't even need the miner to go there, but yeah, JP 2-0.
Wow.
Is this the comeback of Kicks? Because last time around, Kicks easily 2-0'd Ponos, but this time coming all the way down to that King of the Hills. I don't know. It's just been so close.
It's so. I mean, Ten God 100%. 100% can do this. This guy has been quite good. I mean, he 2-0'd Line.
Yeah, okay.
In his only 1v1 set.
So.
Yeah, we just saw Line, you know, play very, very well against Tochi. So 100% this could be Ten God, you know, taking down JP and Legend. But JP looks really good with this Lava Hound. I don't think you can do this 3 times in a row.
Nope.
Because what you can expect here from Ten God, it could be an Executioner or something like that. I don't know. But I don't know if maybe you could get away with it. Maybe you're just so confident with this Lava Hound deck you think you can win 3 in a row. I don't like to see it from players.
No, we've seen a lot of that last season, especially from Legend. I don't know if you remember.
Man.
Yeah, like he would win, then he would lose, and he would still bring it out and lose again. Like
He got pretty stubborn at times. I'm not a fan of it. 2 times in a row I get. 3 is, that's really rolling the dice. That's
Definitely.
like, that's trying to guess, you know, the right number out of 100. I feel like.
Jeez, out of 100.
Yeah, no, maybe not that much. Maybe like 30.
But anyways, yeah, here we go. Ten God, he definitely has a positive record, as you see. 3-1 for 2v2, 1-0 for that 1v1. First time out actually for King of the Hill for Ponos, because you know it's been Rad and Rikey Jones basically finishing all the other King of the Hills with the help of a little bit from Kota and Mikambuya. Never came down to Ten God needing him to play any King of the Hills, but today he's gonna go up against IMJP, who has 2-0'd his teammates.
Yeah, IMJP looking very strong in these King of the Hills, coming in with a lot of confidence, really showing some good games with those with the Lava Hound Miner deck. Is he going to do it a 3rd time in a row? Or maybe a different kind of Lava Hound? I mean, we can try the clone. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Anything that's a little different. But then you got to be careful here, because if I'm Ten God, you know, I'm real tempted to put like an Executioner or something in my deck.
Yeah. Or even a cycle deck with the Inferno Tower in the back.
Yes, yes.
That also could work. we'll see.
We don't see much Inferno Tower in
Yeah.
1v1 anymore with that nerf, and there was such a prevalence of Lightning for a long
Yeah.
time. But now Lightning is kind of fallen out of favor a little bit. We're seeing a lot more Fireballs and other things. Wop. All right, well.
See all the water dripping down after he hits him with
It's
the
just
fish.
gross.
Yeah, I know.
It's just gross.
Like, that makes me imagine how bad you would smell.
Oh,
right? Like,
man.
with the seawater from the fish.
Oh, man.
My goodness.
It's like you're going to like a coast town.
Uh-huh.
And you're already, I mean, you got a river. I hope it's fresh water that runs in the middle of this river, but I don't know. All right, Giant.
Okay.
From Tengad. Is this going to be Double Prince?
Yeah, I was thinking that because we
haven't seen that
but we
ever.
already saw that Dark Prince come up. So it's like, wow, Double Prince.
Haven't seen that ever.
Forever.
There's a Lightning.
Okay. He just wants to get rid of, that E-Wiz in the back and do some damage to the Giant.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You're going to prevent the Giant from getting any punches in. Good skeleton placement by JP. A good zap as well to get a little extra damage from that miner.
Mega Minion! If it was able to get one hit, it would have been better, but a little bit slow. You gotta work on that flying skills.
Yeah, you can pull that. It's going to be the Royal Giant, of course, from JP. Nothing too surprising there with that. There is the Fireball, good Fireball. But you're going to get some big shots from this Royal Giant.
Way too much.
That's a lot of damage. And Tengad realizes that is no bueno.
Yeah. Definitely not. Not good at all. Basically, just puts down one Mega Minion.
Yep, there's the
and he
Double
dies.
Prince.
Yeah, Double Prince.
I mean, it's a difficult decision because you want to use that Prince against the Royal Giant, but you really want that charge damage to get in first and then do it. He's not bad against a single Royal Giant, but there isn't a ton of great defense available for Tengad against a Royal Giant here.
Yeah, nice E-Wiz this time. A lot more units this time around to defend against that Royal Giant, but it was already so much damage taken from that first initial Royal Giant with just one Mega Minion defending against it.
Yep. JP 100% can take the damage from that Dark Prince there. No problems at all doing that. I 100% get what he's thinking there. All right, what is this going to get? It's going to get the Giant. Giant's on the back side of the furnace. You're going to throw down a log. It's going to help a little bit with some of this damage. Now we just need to get into that Royal Giant cycle for JP. JP's fine taking this damage. The Lightning. Yep, are you going to throw the Royal Giant down? All it needs is one shot. There's no buildings available for Tengad. Oh, and that's going to even pull the E-Wiz as well. There isn't going to be enough damage for two Princes.
Ooh, look at how happy he is. He 3-0'd Ponos. And
It's really good.
Yeah, the reason he's extra happy is because he got 2 zeros in his 2v2 set.
Yeah.
And he started off with the loss. And look how happy all they are.
I tell you what, these guys
goodness.
get fired up, man. They love this. JP is super happy, giving Valentin a little pat on the leg, saying, I know we lost 2v2, buddy, but I came back and we got it. 3 games in a row here. It gets weird against the Royal Giant with the Double Princes because you kind of have to accept some damage.
Yeah. Because
you have no buildings.
Correct. Because the Dark Prince, they're great with damage. But like you said, it's not good enough. It's not like you're putting down like a P.E.K.K.A. You're not putting down a mini P.E.K.K.A. with something else to basically just chop through the Royal Giant. So, you're going to have to accept some damage, and that basically added up.
And you have nothing to move the Royal Giant.
Correct.
You have no Fisherman, you have no Tornado, there's just stuff you need, no buildings to distract it. All right, moving on. That is an excellent series there between Kix and Ponos. Kix narrowly coming out ahead in the King of the Hill on the back of an impressive performance by IMJP. Guys, Detonation Gaming versus Chaos Theory, Japan versus SEA coming up next. Stay tuned. You're going to get to see some excellent games.
Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Clash Royale League Asia, the final match of the day here. It's going to be Detonation Gaming versus Chaos Theory. I'm Paper Thin. With me is Ending and Ending. We just saw JP put on a show for us, but now we got to move over and see Japan take on SEA.
All right. Excuse me. This game is going to be as interesting as the game before because these two... Oh, my goodness.
All right, Japan is getting this.
Yeah, they're getting it.
Japan is getting this. We need to go talk to the other regions. Anyway.
Yeah. the backroom CRL club moments. They got to practice for this because, you know, it's going to get it out there. But anyways, both Chaos Theory, Detonation Gaming, they're both at the record of 3 wins and 4 losses. Depending on who wins today, they're going to be tied up with Ponos. So they being tied with Ponos in your group and tied for 3rd basically is what you want. And if you lose today, you're going to be one step closer of being knocked out and not being able to make it into the finals.
Whoa.
Wait.
Wait a second here.
Wait. Benzer?
Benzer's playing 2v2?
It's awkward to see that Benzer picture all the way on top. Usually I look at the middle, it's like, okay, it's Benzer.
This whole thing is weird, but...
Yeah, and Hani coming out once again for that 1v1. He didn't have such a good performance against Tochi last time around. But once again, they're going to put Hani. In the past, we have seen a game of 1v1 from Tempura. Most of the games were played by Raya, but he hasn't played in the past 2 days. The past 2 games,
yeah,
or I should say. But Benzer, oh my goodness.
This is not something you see much in Clash Royale League Asia, people. Benzer Rydell is coming out in the 2v2 here, so buckle up. This is going to be fascinating. And then we're going to see Careless. My gut instinct is that Careless just hasn't played much and they want to get him some games in.
Yeah, because they are a 4-man roster, right?
Yeah. I think they just want to. I really think that's probably the bigger reason, bigger than anything here, is that they just want Careless to get some practice. Tempura and Joker maybe feeling a little nervous here because there was a lot of pressure on them here on both of these teams because if you lose this, then that means you're one of the bottom 2 teams, and that means you're sitting in a position where you are not going to go to the playoffs. If things keep going poorly for you. So you really, really want to win this one. And you really want to keep yourself up there in that spot for the playoffs. So this is a huge match.
Wow. Benzer playing 2v2. This is just... I think it's like...
It's happened before, but...
Yeah, it's like... It's kind of like...
It's still
like
fun.
Seeing like wall breakers. We've seen wall breakers once in the past season. Once. Right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. Like
in 1v1.
Yeah, and you see Benzer going on to that 2v2. It's like wall breakers coming out.
Yeah, it's not quite as rare as the Elite Barbs, but pretty rare. Exciting to see what they're going to do. It's just a double tornado ban, so not much to talk about there. That's really just, I don't know, they can do whatever they want.
I want to see Benzer just still bring out the motor that he played on the 2v2.
Motor.
Yeah, just motor that you can do what you want, Dexter. Just support me.
I mean, we saw the Expo. We saw the Expo the other day with Expo Master in 2v2. Now maybe Benzer wants to give us a mortar. I'm fine. I would love to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just going to throw it out there. Probably going to see a bunch of, lava shenanigans or graveyard or that kind of thing. That's basically what we see in 2v2 at this point.
Yeah, and it's also awkward to see Benzer having that mic next to his mouth. When you're playing 1v1, you don't have the mic. You're just playing by yourself.
Everything feels wrong.
It's not right.
All right, Ram Rider.
Okay.
Both teams bringing that Executioner.
The Ram Rider's getting quite close there with... Yeah, it did get a hit onto that tower.
Yeah, it did get in there. Now you got the Mega Knight fighting the Giant Skeleton and the Fisherman on the other side. Gonna use those bats just to make sure that he gets taken out. Now the Giant Skeleton's gonna get pulled over. It's the clone here from Detonation, but I don't know if much is gonna come out of it. A great snowball is going to eradicate those skeletons.
I don't know, Detonation. I know that you brought the clone. I know that, you know, there was a moment for you to use it, but I don't think that was the best case scenario to actually force that clone in a way. But look at this, the counter push coming through.
The counter punch is heavy because there was a lot of elixir dumped into that, and Chaos Theory punishes them hard for that. And you can see they're just gonna ease up. They're actually even still ahead in elixir. That's the crazy part. I mean, they did a fantastic job turning that onto the head of Detonation Gaming. Detonation, I think, overstepped it a little bit. I think that was, like you said, a little too early for that clone.
And, you know, what Chaos Theory brought, looking at their decks, this is like the old school decks, even before the Giant Skeleton Royal Giant combo that we saw last season. Like, other than the Fisherman being added and the Goblin Cage, everything else, like the P.E.K.K.A. Ram Rider, the Mega Knight Ram Rider, and including that Lumberjack there for that Rage buff, we're just going way back, and it's actually working out quite well for them.
Yeah, this is just the standard Mega Knight Ram Rider stuff with the P.E.K.K.A. of course in there as well. You often see one of those thrown in. The death damage. Now we're going to try it once again. There is a little bit of damage, but that baby dragon cleans up most of those skeletons pretty quickly. We're going to try it on the left. They're just doing it right at the bridge. They're just trying to really spam these clones in, but at what cost? That is so much elixir you burn.
Yeah, it's not heal. No, it's not one elixir. It's 3 elixirs, and both of you brought it. You wanted to do a split clone push, and it definitely did not work out. All right.
I don't even know.
Yeah, like,
was there a Lava Hound in their decks?
No,
I suspect not, because why? Because they didn't use it. They had plenty of time.
No, they just wanted to...
You can see, like, I think they were trying something.
Yeah, well, let's not play that again. Because what they were trying to do is a giant skeleton, scale barrel, and everything else clone, but...
Right. You gotta have something else in those clones, though. I mean, that isn't enough.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
You gotta have at least a Lumberjack or something that's going to, like, or just a Rage spell, anything to get something going there, because it's just not enough.
And if you notice...
Skeletons are too easy to deal with.
Definitely. And if you notice the first clone and the second clone on the right side, the giant skeleton wasn't even included in the clone. He literally got pushed out. Like look at this. This was the second one. There's no giant skeleton.
Yeah.
The initial first one, there was no giant skeleton. This time on the left side, which, you know, the highlight got cut off, that was the only time the giant skeleton was included in that clone, and you most of the time want to include that giant skeleton.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again. Benzer Rydell fighting, yes indeed.
Ooh, a Korean fan here.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, this guy.
Benzer's got
he
fans.
knows. He knows. Look at him. He's happy.
He gives him the love. Oh. That's adorable.
Yeah.
Oh. That brings a tear to my
because
my eye.
I'm pretty sure like all of these different region players, they're used to having fans in the region.
Yeah.
But like seeing a Korean kid just waving that at you in your face, it's like, it must feel good.
When you see a guy like him, like just somebody who's so good at Clash Royale and plays decks that you like, you know, it could be a Mortar fan, and that's gonna be your hero. That's gonna be your guy. That's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Brings a little warmth to my cold, dead heart.
Still dead.
It's still dead. There's a little bit of spark there.
Oh, really?
No, not much. I'm like the Grinch who stole Christmas, man.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
They're going back to the Macarena, going back to the Grinch. Jeez, paper thin.
I'm a big fan of cringe, man. Okay, now this time there's a Lumberjack.
Okay.
But
no, let's hope that it's still not a clone, I hope.
I don't think so. I mean, not yet. We haven't seen anything that would definitely give us the indication. The Ram Rider on the right. I think that P.E.K.K.A. is going to be pretty well dealt with. Whoa, jeez. That Fisherman really wasn't sure what it was doing. It danced around it, but it does not activate the King Tower.
Nope. And you know what I was thinking, seeing what Chaos Theory brought? It feels like Benzer moving to the 2v2, they've only practiced this deck.
Well, a lot of times they'll do that.
Yeah, they only practiced one set of decks because it feels like they brought the exact same deck here.
Totally could be. I mean, you'll see that a lot. You'll see teams win with it because they practice it so hard that no matter what the other team tries to do, it just doesn't really get through. There's a freeze detonation. They had to use it defensively because that push was more than they could deal with. And it is going to work out for them. Yeah, it'll be all right. No damage taken but a lot of elixir burned on the defense.
Yeah, Trainer Dexter's basically trained Benzer just to play this deck for 2v2, and they're like, we're just gonna stick with it. It basically covers everything, right?
All of a sudden, Benzer drops a border, and Trainer just like looks over. Dexter just looks over at him.
When you swap?
Like, why? We didn't talk about this.
When you swap out the zap?
He's, hey man, I gotta give the people what they want.
All right.
What
It's a lot closer this time.
The answer for the Ram Rider this time. You're gonna have the giant skeleton that's in a duel with the P.E.K.K.A. And it's going to be well defended again here by Detonation. So far, they're really doing a great job of this. Now, they've only taken a little bit of damage. It's going to be the balloon with the freeze from Detonation, but that Ram Rider counters this so hard, folks. It locks up that balloon for days.
Here we go, giant skeleton, but it's all the execution damage so strong. One hit, I think, went through from that Ram Rider. Not the charge damage, though.
Okay, he was up front. Now there is a miner in the back, so we're going to get a little bit extra damage. That cage gets open. What's here for the balloon? The freeze is down. The fireball is here. I don't know if there's anything left.
Oh my goodness. God. The Mega Minion and the EUA is literally, they were just pouring their souls out.
All right, double Ram Rider push this time, but with a Fisherman and an E-Wiz, it's hard for those four Ram Riders to get through. Well done here by Detonation.
Wow. Great play. Look at the damage that Chaos Theory has taken. It felt like Chaos Theory was the one to kind of always pressure Detonation, but they just had the perfect counter. They had the Fisherman did great work. The EU did great work. The Executioner getting rid of the Ram Riders quickly and fast before it did any amount of huge damage. But look at this right side now.
One big difference that I've noticed so far is I haven't seen a lightning from Chaos Theory. Those I think were relatively effective. We're going to try the balloon push. We've got the Executioner. We've got the
nice pushback.
Yep, that's
but the giant skeleton, it reached it. It reached it. The death damage.
Pretty healthy. It's going to get a drop. Yes, it does. Down goes Chaos Theory. Well done there by Detonation. Good turnaround, good change up. Switching into that balloon and the freeze, and it wasn't something that Benzer and Dexter's were really ready for there. It's really hard to defend that, of course, when you got all that stuff going on in there, and you need that Ram Rider to lock onto the balloon, but that's hard because there's all these other units in the mix. So getting that Ram Rider to get the proper unit that you need her to is really challenging.
Yeah, and this moment was it looked a little bit dangerous, but like I said, the Mega Minion and the US did a great job stalling that balloon, and only the death damage went in. But this push, the cage didn't pull anything. The giant skeleton was already in range of that death damage bomb for that Princess Tower. The balloon didn't even need to drop anything. The giant skeleton, and even if it was lacking a little bit of damage and had a little bit of health left, the death damage from the balloon could have also finished that up.
Yeah, that cage was misplaced. Yeah. It's got to be a slot. It's got to be a spot over, so it can drag all those units there. Because what you do, the reason you're putting the balloon so far in the left is you want to force the defensive buildings further that way, or closer to the walls, right? So the balloon, if you're on the left-hand side, you're going to place it on the left-hand wall. If you're on the right-hand side, you're going to place it on the right-hand wall. Why? You want to force those buildings as close to your side as you can. Because otherwise, you can do weird stuff and just completely change directions, and you get both towers firing on it, and that's not exactly what you want. So, well done here by Detonation. Good change. Benzer and Dexter's, what do they got for us here in game number 3? Is it going to be basically the same thing with just a little bit of changes here and there?
We'll have to see. The Dark Prince has been out there. Okay, that's a change for sure. So yeah, it's not Benzer didn't practice just one deck for today. He prepped a couple of decks.
It might be just a bit slight variant on the exact same deck.
Yeah.
That guard on the bottom is going to get a couple pokes. That's nothing shabby. Not too shabby. A little bit of damage.
All right, here we go, double giant skeleton. So it seems like Detonation Gaming, they're just so into giant skeleton. They either used a clone with it, or they just did what they did last game. They just push it with the giant skeleton balloon. But either way, giant skeleton, it feels like Detonation believes that it is the meta for 2v2 right now. They're always sticking with it. Freeze again. And the miner in the back chipping down on that executioner, but the giant snowball pushes it back. One drop.
Jeez. Okay, Chaos Theory needs to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Needs to be ready for that. They just saw it last game, and this time it does a ton of damage. Once again, one drop from a balloon is catastrophic.
Yeah.
And this is not looking good for them. They bring a giant skeleton their own this time, but what else is here for Chaos Theory? Because they need to come up with an answer pretty soon.
All right, well, that first game with Chaos Theory beating them felt good for Benzer, but now it's tied up and it's not looking so great with the balloon getting that drop. The Dark Prince does get past. I think it might get a couple of swings in.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be good enough because Detonation Gaming's Ewiz got 2 zaps onto that Princess Tower as well, so
yeah,
it's not a win.
No, it's not at all. Okay, this time.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, it's a freeze of their
they
own.
have a freeze.
Well, what do they got on the? Is it a graveyard with it? I guess that's what I'm assuming with the guards.
Yeah.
It's got to be graveyard. They just haven't been able to get it going.
Yeah.
Because these executioners just smoke through everything with those guards.
And
So
the important thing is, if you have a graveyard, you have to cycle through it. Yeah, there we go, finally. Especially if Benzer, if his last card is also a graveyard, I think they've waited too long.
Yeah.
Because if you have 2 graveyards, right? If you just have one, I understand why they wanted to, defend it perfectly and then place it. But if you have double graveyard, you have to force that attack. You have to keep the pressure on.
All right, now the miner in the back, he is raged up that balloon. Still
Freeze!
pretty healthy. The freeze is down once again. I think it's going to get the drop. Yes, indeed. There's only 10 seconds left. There is not enough in the tank here for Chaos Theory. Well played. Comes down. Detonation Gaming with back-to-back wins on the balloon freeze. Well played by them, catching Chaos Theory off guard 2 times in a row there. And that is huge here for Detonation Gaming, because now if Hani can come through, and this is going to be a fascinating battle, because,
yeah,
well, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
here.
who knows? Literally, Careless played 1 game this season, 1 King of the Hill against IMJP. Hani, he played last week's 1v1 against Tochi, 1 and 2, so 1 win and 2 losses on that game. So Hani, he played 3 games of 2v2, 2 rounds of King of the Hill, and 1 game of 1v1. So yeah, he has played here and there, but he wasn't like a designated player for the 1v1 or the 2v2. So everything is up in the air.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really weird because Hani basically played the exact same deck all 3 times in a row.
I remember.
It was the Royal Giant, Giant Skeleton stuff. And so, like, I don't know how you prepare for either of these players because we don't know what the heck they're going to do. Nobody knows. You can look at and they're not using their main accounts to, of course, practice what they're going to play. For this, they all have their own secret accounts, so that way nobody can get a read on what they're going to do. I mean, everybody has their main account where they have their favorite deck, so you kind of know what that is, But outside of that, who knows what they're going to do? So this is going to be really fun, but getting it done with the freezes, some really good freezes. Chaos Theory tried with some defensive freezes. It's just not enough. There just isn't enough damage there. That giant skeleton is so tanky. And then you get the miner in the back as well. The rage is making everything speed up here for Detonation Gaming. And whoop, just one drop, 1 bomb falling out of that basket. And away you go.
Yeah, it just really sucks to see a team, a 2v2 pair have 2 graveyards and was unable to use it until the end. We saw literally just 1 graveyard being used at the end. And when you have a 2 graveyard, you have to use it. So they can't use a giant skeleton and a balloon all the time back to back pressuring you, because you can't have your opponent pressuring you when you have your graveyard.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, you can't use that for defensive purposes. Yeah, we have seen it used on the bridge from time to time, but that's not ideal. So.
No, right. It's not something that you want to be doing.
Yeah.
If you're using it, it's really desperate. You're just like, we have no other answers, literally nothing else available.
Successor to Benzer? Really?
I mean, okay.
Well, yeah, he is playing the 1v1 for Chaos Theory. Benzer has been on this 1v1 grind, and then we haven't seen anybody else, so I guess you could call him a successor.
Sure.
But did he forcefully take it, or is he a successor? You know what I'm saying?
This is some Game of Thrones stuff here.
Was there a coup, or was it, did Benzer hand it?
Yeah. Well, I think he's just like my honest theory is that they just want to get in some practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's only played one game on stage. You got to give this guy a little bit of give him a chance to get some of the nerves worked out. Get him ready for the playoffs potentially. So let's go over here. Hani x Hani versus Careless. Hani x Hani. If you play Royal Giant Skeleton, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
You might just take your headset off and go right next to the stage. Yeah, no, just go into the
Start
stage.
Yelling at him.
Yeah, and tell Hani x Hani, call the timeout. I'm gonna change the deck for you. Oh my goodness.
All right, we'll see. Fisherman.
Oh my goodness, it could still be a Royal Giant.
Yeah, well, I mean, a Royal Giant's fine. Just with the Giant Skeleton, you can try something different. That was a while. That was a week ago.
Yeah.
Meta's constantly shifting. We haven't seen nearly as many Giant Skeletons recently. With the Hunter here.
Okay.
Balloon Miner.
Okay.
Very popular right now. Oh, this is gonna be.
Sparky.
Sparky, but that Balloon's gonna get a drop.
Spear Goblin. Nope,
it's not enough.
They got a drop. And look at the Musketeers. Successor to Benzer, doing a great job right now.
He's got the Barbarians here. I suspect part of that reasoning is definitely one of the Barbarians didn't bite.
One swing.
Oh boy.
Oh, it got actually locked onto that Fisherman. Great.
Hani.
But still, it's still not good enough. You're gonna let that? You're gonna let that? It's a full HP Barbarian.
This is no bueno here for Hani, man. This is not the start you want. Now Hani's got to do this. 100%. He's just got to abandon this right-hand lane, and now he's got to try to get a push working here over on the left. The weird part is if you're good with the Barbarian splits and the Ice Golem placement, you can distract the Sparky pretty darn well.
Yeah.
So here, are we going to see the Ice Golem? Yes. And then, okay, there we go. There's the Barbarian split is very good. And it actually, it locked on there to the Musketeer. So the split was good, but the shot had already locked on to the Musketeer. So Hani x Hani getting a little bit of Sparky love. No, you can't take that damage.
Nope. Yeah, there we go. And, it's also very not good enough because, yeah, Hani gave up the right side. He's focusing on the left. But now, Careless, it's, he's also thankful because now he just has to defend, and then counter push with everything that's left over if he defends it right. But he's not going to do that. Miner, Balloon to the right side, and the funny thing is King Tower. Yeah, the Hunter was great, but the King Tower also locked onto the Balloon.
There are the barbs. Great fireball here from Hani x Hani to get the Sparky onto the tower. Well done.
Oh my goodness, really? This is going to happen?
This is excellent play here from Hani x Hani, turning it around.
Oh gosh.
That fireball was magic. Now what can he do? The Sparky, that's going to get another shot. Okay, just in time with the snowball. I was going to say, if you don't do something, it's going to get another shot, and that actually is a big deal.
I don't know what is happening right now in this game. The Ice Golem placement, to be honest, from Careless was a little bit late because it could have taken that one hit.
A little bit late on the fireball this time, but
still alive.
Okay. And we're going to put the pocket Goblin Giant in here. He's pretty darn healthy. We're getting a lot of damage done. That is not quite fireball range. But if you have another spell in the pocket, Hani x Hani, yes, he does. And the fireball. Yes, indeed.
Oh my goodness. What game did we just watch?
Not a good start for Hani x Hani. A little bit of nerves, a little bit of jitters at the beginning of that. Then he turns it around.
I'm going to be 100% honest. Both of these players, right, Hani x Hani and Careless, they both played a flawed game. It wasn't, usually when we see great 1v1 players, they make very small mistakes.
Right.
The game, the whole game itself isn't flawed, but this time they were making so many small mistakes, here and there, back and forth, slow placement of the Ice Golem and the late placement of the Barbarians, so the Sparky locks onto the Musketeer, getting that splash damage onto the Princess Tower. The Ice Golem a little bit late, so the Sparky just literally locks onto the Princess Tower. We also saw the Miner Balloon here. You have to think that the Miner has to travel more, a little bit more when it's traveling to the King Tower compared to the Princess Tower. But he didn't calculate that. He put it down exactly the same way, and the King Tower also locked onto the Balloon. And I don't know. And Hani taking so much damage early on from that Barbarian, doing nothing for that counter push, literally just getting rid of his Princess Tower, even though he did win at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like there were so many small things that I wanted to not see during a 1v1 game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a it was a bit chaotic. I don't think either player was quite ready for what either player brought. And that's kind of what we were talking about, right? And I think, I think with Careless, he at least kind of suspected he brought the Barbarians, which you don't always see in a minor balloon deck.
Yeah.
Kind of brought those thinking, well, he likes the Royal Giant. Barbarians are excellent against Royal Giant. So I have that available. I also have the Furnace to distract the Royal Giant and that kind of thing. But it wasn't that. And here's what gets weird is if there's a Furnace, as a Sparky player, you're not super upset about it because you can shoot those fire spirits as you're coming in. Buy time. That's what you do with Sparky. You buy time. That's the whole point of it. You're just trying to keep everything building. You're trying to get as much value out of that trash can as possible. You're rolling it down the hill, just trying to throw everything you can in it. And because the longer it's out there, the more value it gets, and the worse it is for your opponent. And then if you get two on the board at the same time, forget it.
Oh my goodness.
Get out. You're done. No, you don't have to split. They
Just
can be
at the same lane? Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my goodness.
I'd
I'd rather do a split.
You can split them too.
Because like if your opponent has like a fireball or a lightning, and if you stack them together, it's like
The thing is you're usually not going to see two of them out at the same time unless
there's like a tombstone that's like keeping it.
Well, yes, but also that oddly enough, it's that both players have lost a Princess Tower because it just doesn't happen otherwise.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love Sparky. Keep playing it, please. I could talk about it all day.
Yeah. Right, well, here we go.
Go.
This timeout called for Chaos Theory because if they lose once again, they lose to Detonation Gaming and they drop down to 5th place. And if you're not in top 4, you're not making it to the finals.
Right. Exactly.
It's important.
So
Super important.
All right.
Gob Hut.
Gob Hut here from Hani. So he's doing something a little different. Will this be more old school? We just saw the old school Goblin Giant Sparky Jack. There we go. All right. It might be time.
And there we go, Careless.
God, no.
Careless, what have you done?
Oh, no. One of the few things in the game that does more damage than a Sparky shot.
Yeah.
Or no, it doesn't. It does less, but it's close. It doesn't. Sparky does more damage, but it's close with that death damage from the Giant Skeleton. It's really close. It's like 100 less or something.
Well, that basically, usually when a player pulls in a Giant Skeleton to your Princess Tower and that's how the game starts off.
It's not good.
In theory, like statistically, they've always lost whenever that happens.
I'm sure it's pretty much, it's probably one of those things where you lose like 95% of it.
Yeah, not 100%, yeah.
And look at these goblins can just continue. And there you go. There are the Barbarians who are going to chew apart the Royal Giant. Hani looking so strong right now, but Careless still well able to turn this around for sure. Just got to be careful with those fishermen.
And I also want to be honest here. Yeah, he's putting down the Furnace because of the Giant Skeleton, but yeah, there we go. You usually want to put it down with the Royal Giant to support it with the Fire Spirit in the back. But look at this. What is Careless doing on the right side? He's giving it up. He wants to try to focus on the left side, but so many skeletons. Giant Skeleton taking everything. Still alive. No, not enough damage on the bottom left tower because even if he gave that up, there's only 15 seconds left.
Doesn't feel like it's going to be enough if the Barbarians are here. Forget it. It's going to be the Fisherman even. Who needs the Barbarians? When you got a Fisherman to pull that thing away as well. Only one shot. There's not enough time. It's going to be Hani. Hani taking it for Detonation Gaming, and they will win the match.
Oh my goodness.
Woo!
That was great game. I think game number 2 was a lot better to see.
It was a lot cleaner.
Even though we saw that Fisherman pull the Giant Skeleton in, it was definitely cleaner, less mistakes made overall, I think.
Yep.
From both players, other than the Fisherman.
Shows the danger of cycling a Fisherman. You can't just cycle it behind the King Tower.
Correct.
cycle. You just can't.
Just bridge spam it if you need to cycle it, like.
Yeah.
Because you never know, especially in the beginning, right? Like that's like the most dangerous point to cycle a fisherman. Because at the beginning, you don't know what your opponent has, right? Like maybe later in the game, like mid-game, you know that you can cycle through a fisherman in the back because you already know what they have. And you can pull it to the Princess Tower, it's not going to matter too much. Then you can do it. But at the beginning, you don't do it.
Nope. Well, this is a nice win here for Detonation Gaming, and this has got to be frustrating for Chaos Theory, especially after coming up so close last season to making it to the finals and falling short. Falling here again, and now they are in the bottom 2 slots. So right now, if you were to go to the playoffs today, they'd be out. Now, of course, we still have plenty more Clash Royale action coming at you. We got a couple more weeks. I think each team is
2 more. Well, Group A, they have 2 more games.
2 more.
Group B, they have 3 more games.
So Chaos, this puts a ton of pressure on them.
Oh,
they have got to turn it around in the next 2 weeks. They're 3-5 now. Detonation feeling good. Ponos, they're still okay, but the pressure is on. Kicks and DragonX. DragonX, I think they're a lock. They cannot miss the playoffs unless something really weird happens.
Yeah, no, DragonX, I don't.
No, they cannot.
Yeah, they cannot.
Even
if they lose back-to-back full, like they're definitely in at least top 4. So yeah, no worries for DragonX here. I think even for Kicks, it's still
not
potentially
guaranteed for Kicks.
Yeah, it's not 100%, but
because they could lose twice. And
yeah, but the way that they have been playing, if you take account into their performances in the past, I think they're pretty much in the safe. But this is the next schedule that we have. Saturday, October 5th for Group B.
This looks fun. OPGG against Sandbox. Ooh. Ooh, that one's going to be good. Antis versus a very desperate Game With. Game With needs to turn it around right now. And then Fav versus Bren. Bren as well in that desperation situation. Things are not going well for them. It's been a really fascinating season. We've had some teams that have historically been really good, kind of starting to falter a little bit here. Game With has got to be one of the most surprising for me because that team has been so good. I don't think you can hold them down. I think that could be an upset coming here on Saturday. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Game With going to be taking down OG and Entis. Sorry, OG and Entis fans, not to like say they're bad. They're really darn good. And like I've been saying when I've been doing Group B, I want to see OG and Entis against Kicks. I think that would be an incredible matchup.
Yeah, but you're not going to have that until the playoffs because they're in different groups. But yeah, other than Game With, Brand Esports being in 6th place is really awkward to see. And even in Group A, now Chaos Theory, they've dropped down to 5th place. And you don't expect that with Benzer on your team. Just Chaos Theory, right? And Pono's finally, at least they're starting to climb up.
Our 3rd and 4th place teams from last season are now in danger of not making the playoffs. And that's really surprising. And they both, at least Chaos Theory, started out the season pretty darn well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Clash Royale League Asia. We'll be back on Saturday, same place, same time. Group B this time around. Take care, everyone.